Here we go, Hump Day Edition, Outlaw Radio. Welcome to the show. We were not on Monday. So for all the Outlaw faithful, all the Outlaw family, we were not on Monday. Sometimes it's just time for a mental break. You know, you have to reset sometimes. And so if the energy's not right, I don't turn on the mic. I don't know if that rhymes. Welcome to Outlaw Radio. My name is Kevin Barnes. I'm the host of Outlaw Radio, the architect of the People's Network, as well as the People's News Network Facebook group, where you get all of the pertinent and important Black news, premium Black news, whatever, what have you. Speaking of which, this is what you get on Outlaw Radio. So we always say, everybody has a podcast, right? So people say, Kev, you got a podcast, right? Say, yeah. Oh, it's called Outlaw Radio. What is it about? It's about Black people. What do y'all talk about? Black people stuff. No handlers, no gatekeepers, real free expression, free foundational Black American freedom of expression. So welcome to the show. It's Outlaw Radio, personal business. Two words that should not be ever utilized in the same stance, right? What do they call it? Oxymoron, that kind of thing. Personal business. How can something be personal business? We're going to talk about that tonight. But I'm not alone. I have my co-host here, and you all know him, right? You already know.
Hey.
How you doing tonight?
Peace. Life is what's happening, man. Life is what's up. Peace, y'all. Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, I am the Black woman lover, the Black man's brother, the culture, teacher, hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor. Hey, mama, there go the Seymour's, man! Get to the House of Vitality. You better get there. Come try something.
You already know, if you watch Outlaw Radio, we big up Black business. We big up some Black economic development. Those are things that we champion. So anytime we have a Black business owner, somebody like Kamar, right? We always say he's not a businessman. He's a businessman. You have to know Jay-Z to understand that. But that's what it's all about. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty, because like I said, normally we're on Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, until whenever we choose to cut the machine off, because we own the machine. But I was off on Monday, so it built up, right? It built up. It's built up. I don't want to call it blue balls. I don't want to call it that, because that's in the era of Diddy. You don't want to utilize no kind of terms that I even, you damn near got to say no Diddy after everything, right? You got to watch what you say. But personal business, man, we are in the home stretch. All the hype, all the commercials, all the rhetoric, all of the lies, all of the truths, all of the half-truths have ran their course. Week and a half, 2 weeks, we're going to have us a new president, okay? Now, I know a lot of my people are so, disillusioned and frustrated with American politics that they don't care either way. But I think this election represents exactly the kind of direction that I chose to name the show personal business, because in this election, there's some things that are personal and there are some things that are business, right? We have conversed a very long time from the beginning. And if you listen to Outlaw Radio, I said early on, when Joe Biden went to shaking and sleeping and napping, and I said, listen, maybe they need to have him step away and have Kamala run. People say, Kev, that don't even make sense. That'll never happen. Ha, 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 it happened.
Now look, the joke's on you, Jack.
Right. And listen, this country went crazy. It exploded. It exploded. First of all, let me pause and tell you the one thing about our show is that we are interactive. So there is a phone number you can actually call. That number is 262-202-5131. Hit us up. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen with the Cash App too, just in case you want to help us financially, right? But we also have a chat room, and our chat room always shake harder than a crap game table, right? And so right now I already got Deion James in the chat room. He says, unbutton that collar. I will not. You You know, I'm old school. So like, remember when you had to take pictures at school and it was picture day? Your mama buttoned your collar all the way up to the top, and she put some grease on your head and said, anytime you go anywhere representing me, you better get it right. So I still crease my pants, I still button my shirt up. I'm trying to tell you, man. I do what my mama told me to do, right? So leave my shirt alone. Leave my shirt alone. Mama Jenkins is in the chat room. She says, good evening. Just an FYI, early voting is off the chain. People are definitely exercising their rights. The lines are long, but this is worth the wait. She said, remember, Hitler is trying to reinvent. Hitler is trying to make a comeback. Dion said, answer the phone. I didn't, you know what? Let me, I think my phone line is cool. I may have just missed you because I was in the midst of, bringing in the show, Dion. So we'll see. Because, sometimes it's your phone and you like to blame it on our system. But you got that gas station headset on and it don't always work. The one you get when you buy 3 packs of Marlboro, free Bluetooth headset. Rail is in the building, man. What up, Rail? How you doing tonight, my brother? Welcome to the show.
I'm good. How y'all doing, man?
We are lovely. Yes.
Glad to hear that.
We're doing extravagantly. He said, bro, I can't believe you do that. You can't believe that I still do what my mama tell me to do. Well, you don't know me very well. So she laid down a foundation that I've not strayed from, and it's been successful for me. So, rest in peace to my mama. But no, listen, let's really talk about it because, like I said, man, it's about to be decision time, right? And I want to look at this election in a way maybe some people have not broken it down, especially for us, because you see every part of what a political race is, right? And the way that they try to come at people. First of all, don't believe any commercial you see. They're all lies. Every commercial is full of lies. Don't believe it. But this race is unique because it tapped into where women are in our society, in terms of, and especially Black women, in terms of their roles and leadership and how we want to see them. Because let's be honest, a lot of this came down to men saying, I ain't voting for no damn woman to be president. All right. Then there's the whole race thing, and any fool, any idiot in America who wants to dismiss the race factor in anything we do is an idiot. I'm talking about sports, music, art. If there's a separate category for Black people. Stop it. Stop pretending. So race has played an incredible role in this election, in particular, how I seen my people self-destruct and start going at each other. Remember, for a minute, we were going at each other's asses about whether or not you supported Kamala and you like Trump and nigga, what's wrong with you? This became really divisive for us, right? But then there's the business of it, in which, how is this country going to operate? You have wars, you have global affairs. It's what's called a global economy now. We're no longer the top dog selling Fords out of Detroit. That's a complicated model for economics globally. Even the value of the very dollar that we use has taken a dip. Therefore, you get inflation. We are aligned with certain countries in certain parts of the world in business pacts that may wholeheartedly exploit or destroy somebody who's there.
Preach on that broom. Preach on that broom there, brother.
There we go. And the doors of the church is open. We've been talking about this election, so let's talk about it. Y'all was lit, as we say. Everybody was lit about it, right? We'll talk about that part. But I want to get back to the business of running America. Moving into this new age, our elected officials, they almost have to be able to think outside the box. And that's, I think, where the appeals for Trump amongst Blacks and poor people lies. Because they feel like we just need a change, any kind of change, right? So that creates this whole undercurrent of, you would think poor people wouldn't like Trump. Like, you think like his rich bastard, he's bragging on commercials, which are full of lies. I know they take, snippets, but Trump, I'm rich as hell. I do what I want to do. I just grab him by the pussy, right? He represents kind of like a rebellious spirit. But for me, I don't hear anything about equality. I don't hear anything about the reform the reform of the justice system, law enforcement reform. I don't hear any of those specific topics that will even in any kind of way benefit people of color. So therefore, I'm like, fuck him. Right? I don't hear that coming from the other side either. Because guess what, Kamar? We're the party poopers. We're neither Democrats nor Republicans. We poop on both parties because of their egregious treatment of our people. I'm not running out of breath, but I'm going to take a break to let my co-host speak to this. Because I could go all night, right? I can go all night. Kamar, in terms of, it's time. It's the seventh inning stretch. Like, it's time to do it. What you thinking going into this?
It's time to put up or shut up. You know what I mean? It ain't no time to argue no more about debate about what's right. Just go vote now.
Right.
You know what I mean? How about we quit banging on each other and let's figure out how we gonna work with each other? Because no matter which president is in office, you know what I mean, you still gonna work to go get your money to eat. You know what I'm saying? You still gonna do whatever it is you got to do to feed your family is what I'm saying, right? So we need to figure out how we can coexist even still, because no matter who's in office, we still got problems.
Okay. Rail, you're not really a political, or at least you haven't expressed it here, because ain't no telling what Rail is on. Let me just tell you, from some of your Facebook posts, I'll be like, okay, that's the mood you're in today, Rail. Like Rail is like Freak a Leak, right? But he's truly a black hippie. Free love like a motherfucker. But no, I'm Rail, where you at with this? Because I don't even know if you gonna participate in this process. You even thinking about voting, or what? How you feel?
I'm just ready for it to be over, man. I'm ready to be able to watch YouTube without an onslaught of political commercials. I'm ready to be able to come out
text on your phone.
Right, man. I'm coming out the grocery store, motherfuckers coming up to me. Who are you registered to vote? Who you voting for? I'm like, I'm right near Yeezus. They like, well, can you just vote for Kamala this time? Well, do it for me. I said, I ain't doing it for you. Well, do it for democracy. Democracy. I said, I ain't doing it for democracy. I said, right near Yeezus. I said, I don't like neither one of them. I said, so if I do, I said, I'll go vote for Baldwin just because Hubby or whatever the fuck want me to pay extra for being fat. So that's the only reason.
This dude's on Tory Lowe show talking about we should vote for him because he has black friends, he knows black culture, and he's actually been to Africa, man.
Hey,
hold
on, Dion. Go ahead, Kamar.
No, I was saying Hubby's a piece of work, man, with some of the stuff he be saying. The senior citizens vote shouldn't count because they finna die anyway.
Man, like, I've been cracking up at them commercials. He's just a jerk.
Stupid. It's a circus, man. It's a circus. But I want to say this because I got Dion on the line and I got Mama Jenkins in the chat room, but I want to say this. The funny part about this to me was we argued about two things as black people. Number one, the fact that Kamala's not black, right? And instantaneously I was saying, well, neither is Trump. And neither was Biden.
Right.
Neither was Obama.
Right. For that matter, if that's the argument, right?
Well, because there's this whole revelation of what black, quote unquote, actually is in America, right? So we identify ourselves in particular on this show as foundational black Americans. We are individuals who parents or family somehow, some way descended from the South, right? Somewhere through that whole Jim Crow kind of thing, right? And I don't want to go into a slavery lesson here, but we identify as that because our parents were black Americans and they suffered all of the consequences and repercussions for being black. But then you have other people who are of color who live in our country. So you have Jamaicans, you have Native Africans, you have Haitians, you have dark Dominicans, and we're looking at them saying, y'all ain't black. That was a very interesting development from that I think we will always have to go back to this race because I don't think we had ever before kind of broken down what black means. We black this, black that, black power, black. This became the first time where we, as foundational black Americans, which I always say are the only true Americans because we are the only racial identity created by this country. My parents are from Germany. You're German. My grandparents were from France. You're French. My people was from Mississippi. I'm American. Just wanted to say that. Let me get to Mama Jenkins' comment. He said, question what's happening with these black men voting for Trump. Even the 4-star general is now saying he's not fit for office. Do they really think this motherfucker won't wake up one day and just say, fuck all y'all and not hit that button? She said, just go vote. And remember, this is going to fuck with all of the people breathing. Shout out to Mama Jenkins. Shout out to Mama Jenkins. Telling you, you got a free, you have a, this is a comfortable place for the truth. Dion, I didn't get you. Did I get Dion in this time? Because I know he went to jump in. Dion, you here? Okay, my phone is definitely working, y'all. I'm on some bullshit because I'm running my mouth. But Kamar, so many different parts of this election that made it personal business. Like, we argue with my brother Shay and Krumer. Shout out to Shay and Krumer out in Denver. And because he's so against Kamala, but it was because she's not black. And it was because she worked as an attorney general. And she worked as a lawyer who locked up black people. But we got a problem in this country when it comes to crime and punishment. Because we got a crime epidemic in Milwaukee, in which we are saying, what should we do when we catch black people short of the line?
Lock their ass up.
Lock their ass up. I've been told that that's some real serious black Republican shit, Kamar. So people think I'm actually a Republican. I just want to just say that.
Well, I mean, if we talking about getting people out of the community that's causing harm to the community.
Absolutely.
That's destroying the community. That's taking lives in the community. Lock them up.
Okay.
Get them out the community. You know what I mean? The goal in life is to get better. Right? So, you know what I mean? Yeah, lock them up. Give them a chance to go sit down, go think about it. Maybe take some of them courses, you know what I mean, that they got in there, you know, and come back out and try it again.
Okay. Once again, I just think for me, the whole thing about, you know, we're mad at her. Like, I never heard a real good reason not to support her over Trump. Right? Like, because I said this, it wasn't about my love for Kamala. It was about my disgust for Trump. And where it's going to affect me as a man of color is, you cannot deny this. Trump puts a battery in the back of white people, in particular racist white people. They feel empowered by Trump. Now, I'm preparing for Trump to win because I'm pessimistic. As a black man, I'm trying to find a trench that I need to dig into and get covered. I really am. I'm really thinking Trump is going to get in, but I'm not as paranoid about Trump as other people because I understand he's not coming into office day one with supreme power. Some of the things he would try or is going to try to do should legally take years to even be thunk of, as they say. Now, maybe the process will get expedited and these things could happen faster, but at that point, we know we have a problem then. At that point, we like, oh, shit. I just want all you Trump supporters, when you start to see things move funny, I want you to break your arm patting yourself on the back. Dion, you are our first caller. What's going on with you, my brother? Thank you for holding on. What's up?
Man, I'm a fixture on this motherfucker, man. What's happening? On the real, I missed you guys last week. I was in motherfucking Arizona. I fell asleep. I was trying to stay up to catch the show, but it's the 2-hour difference, and I fucked around and dozed off. When I woke up, I was like, this nigga be cutting the machine off at what is it now, 7:53 shit. You be cutting it off at 8:01. So I knew I couldn't call you, but I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm just so sick of those. Like, yo, guy, you know what? I might unfriend him though. I can't. My thing is this. I'm talking about Orlando. My thing is this, and I'm not about to talk about him, but my thing is this with Trump supporters. You know, because I was talking to one in my job the other day. My thing is this, right? Okay, support who you want to, but present facts to me. Because I'm gonna come with a barricade and shit, and you're gonna be like, oh my God. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna talk about the economy. Like the one lady at my job, I was like, she was like, well, I was having more money with Trump. I said, well, did you have money when Obama was in office? Yes, I did. I said, well, Trump inherited Obama's economy. People don't understand. They must have forgot about COVID. Just like I heard my guy, I'm gonna have to get on his ass too, because he's not really politically astute. So I'm gonna have to talk to him because he was talking about Trump gave us those checks. No, the fuck he didn't. Trump's name was on those checks. That was an economic relief package that Congress had passed when Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House. So the Democrats did that. Trump held the release of the checks up so he could print his name on there. So you gotta know this type of shit. You understand what I'm saying? See, niggas be coming off ignorant and stupid. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. They don't educate themselves on that shit. You understand what I'm saying? So the lady, I was talking, I said, do you know that Biden inherited a post-pandemic economy? You understand what I'm saying? Like, we know what the pandemic did. Fuck talking about the jab and all that. People was dying. People didn't want to go back to work. Businesses were closed. It's businesses that were closed that didn't even open back up. It destroyed a lot of people. So Biden inherited that economy, but the United States ain't the only one reaching record inflation. The UK has reached inflation. Germany, all over there. See, the people just sit up there and they be like, we're not the only people in this world. And she was like, well, we got to put the United States first. I said, baby, we can't. We got to have allies out here. You understand? Because if we isolate ourselves, they can only be looking at this little stupid, minute shit that they feel Donald Trump did. They have no education and they don't really know nothing about him. And then when you hear the rhetoric that come out of his mouth, I said, well, the man talking about being a dictator the first day. Oh, well, I said, well, if a motherfucker tell you they gonna hit you in your mouth, you better believe what they say. You understand what I'm saying? So, and then she got children. So I said, what if your daughters out here got raped? You don't want your daughter to have a rapist baby, you got a rapist grandbaby. You know what I'm saying? You just raise it in the house. I got this rapist grandbaby. You know what I'm saying? Like, but see, I know the reason she's supporting Donald Trump. It's about white people feel like they have been put to the back burner. Everybody else getting ahead of them. Like yesterday, I was listening to Dude podcast. Some motherfucker came on there like, yeah, the immigrants getting $5,000 a month, you know, an EBT card, and they get so much on food stamps. And I said, that's a fucking lie. And then people don't even understand that the United States is a sanctuary country. If you look over there in Minnesota, where you think all the motherfucking Somalians come from, them Ethiopians? They were refugees coming from a war-torn country. They came over here. They seek refuge and sanctuary. If you go up to Warsaw, ain't nothing but Hmong's up here. But see, people don't know their history, though. So when you don't know your history, you would say all type of stupid shit out your mouth. And if it sounds good to you, then that's what you're going to go with, though. You know what I'm saying? But I like like I told a lady at my job today, Dion, I don't even want to be nobody's friend if folks vote for Donald Trump. Go ahead.
I think what you just did is you spoke to where I was going with this election, because it stroked so many strings, right? From the personal aspects of it to the political and policy, you know, aspects of it. It struck a nerve with black people. My question is whether we jumped on this because it was just hot news, right? Because we often say it's not about what you do, it's why and how you do it, right? So if you're voting, I think you have to ask yourself, why am I voting? Do you vote because you feel like I'm going to utilize my right as an American tax-paying citizen to participate in the democratic process? Do you vote because you're emotionally charged? I just don't like her. She's not black. He's a racist. Those are mostly emotion-based. Are you one of those voters who is very informed about what's going on? I just heard you speak to a bunch of different things, but they're all different classifications in terms of what the president will and won't do. See, first of all of the shit that they blame Kamala for, as far as not getting done or getting, or even if they gave her credit for it during Biden's presidency, is a lot, because the vice president don't really do shit. Everybody already knows that. The vice president is usually just somebody who pop up at your school. They ain't send the real president. They sent the vice president. They don't know that. Right.
But
So
they don't know that.
Well, they don't, because they say, "Oh, you was vice president." Like Trump was like, "Yo, she was vice president. Why she do all these things, bro? You been president. Why
And
you
didn't
didn't
do
do
shit.
them?"
You didn't build a wall. You didn't do shit.
Well, but
Well-
there's hold on. So my next part of that is what's really going to matter after we elect this president is what's coming up after that, called the midterms. You absolutely have to vote in the midterms so you can establish who has the advantage in Congress and in the Senate and all this kind of stuff. That's what really is going to help or hurt a president in terms of what they want to do policy wise. Trump is, if you're looking at Project 2025, which is right now a thing.
That's what I'm looking at.
So he's going to try and dissolve and try to maneuver and manipulate these so that balance of power won't be there, thus giving himself ultimate power. That is what the Democrats have sold. But people looked at that and said, that's fear-mongering, right? That's fear-mongering. Just like the Republicans will say, they're going to take your guns. Everybody, you're going to be gay. They're going to make your kids gay. Like the Democrats they sling just as much mud, right? So that's why you, especially as a person of color, you just kind of sit it out and say, shit, I ain't got a dog in the fight. I'm gonna let these motherfuckers go at it, and I'm gonna be in the background trying to do some twos and fews. You see what I'm saying? So that's why black people end up like, you know what, fuck this shit. But I'm telling you, it's so important that we get involved, not with just the presidential election, but the midterms. And after that, I'm gonna tell you what's even more important. Local politics. Local politics. Look at Milwaukee. Milwaukee is, I believe,
all that run hand to hand though.
Well, it's levels to the shit. But I think in terms of you want to see change where you're at instantaneously, you're going to look at the local level. Because it ain't like, you cast a vote for the president. Once again, there's all kinds of, there's checks and balances. So no president has been a king. They might utilize their powers to manipulate whatever, but ain't nobody been no scepter swinging king that says, off with their heads. Just there's checks and balances. There's been some reckless usage of the military. Let's say that. Right. But that's the only thing the president is really going to have a say so on. And even in that sense, he or she can be overridden. Mama Jenkins says if he wins, then you got to worry about the crazy ass Vance being in charge. Yeah, but as the system currently stands, he won't have any power either because the vice president doesn't have any power. So he'll just be an idiot touring the country saying crazy shit.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to answer your question that you asked me. I'm voting because I read Project 2025.
Okay.
And if you don't think that what he's trying to do is going to be implemented, see, it's easy for you to say that because that's just like you dealing with a normal thing. Yeah, he probably won't be able to do it. But see, the thing, he has set all the cards up in place, and all he got to do is fall in place. The Supreme Court is already there. You understand what I'm saying? He got Congress, you know what I'm saying? Because it's Republican Congress, except for Kamala Harris is the break and vote, to decide and vote. So all the cards is in place. So what he's trying to implement this, I'm telling you, if you read that shit, they said they're trying to do this expeditiously. And when you use expeditiously, that don't mean you're not using it, just use it as a word. They said.
Well, you know what, Dion? If we go trip on words, I heard you say astute earlier, and I was like, wow, Dion said astute. I didn't want to stop your flow, though, so we talking about using words.
Yeah.
Let me look. I got some people in the chat room. Hold on. Shabaka says Democrats are pushing that transgender surgery bullshit in the penitentiaries at the taxpayer expense. I would encourage people to look into this because this Trump-backed commercial has come out with Charlemagne from the Breakfast Club saying that Kamala wants to pay for inmates to get transgender surgery or whatever, and he's not suing. He's suing Trump because they took bits and pieces of the show and did that. So he's I don't have the details all about the lawsuit, but I've seen that he's now suing Trump because they used that clip. So my point is, this all hype about, she want to give prisoners a sex change surgery. I mean, let's look into it. Let's get the bare facts about it before we start promoting it. Shabaka said Trump is bullying all the motherfuckers. Trump is a convicted felon. And nobody's talked about the process that even if he does win, we still ain't got the sentencing for the 34 felonies you was convicted of. And that was before you got the concessions in court to create this act where all of a sudden, was it an official act of the president when he was, remember he got the one charges dismissed in one of the states because him and his lawyer friends got together and said, well, was it an official act as president? You were already convicted of these 34 felonies before that. So what, are you going to like do your first term, half of it in prison? Because you should be incarcerated if you got convicted of 34 felonies. There's no way around that. So if he's elected, now let me say this too. If we sit on our hands, right? Let's talk about Project 2025 for a minute. If we sit on our hands and allow him to do this without us as the people showing our ass, then we deserve it. We deserve to lose every right that he takes from us, because there are things you can do if you see this enacted, right? And that's what the thing is supposed to be about America is, listen, no taxation without representation. Wasn't that a thing at one point? So, if we sit around and let Trump put 2025 in and you start seeing this shit move and there's no action, then we got an issue. I keep telling y'all, watch the movie Civil War. Watch the movie.
He's trying to do the Insurrection Act.
Watch the movie Civil War. It's almost kind of like a take on what could happen if you let a real madman into the White House. I didn't think I would enjoy it. It's a crazy movie.
But I've seen the movie. In order for that to happen, it has to be a military coup. You understand what I'm saying? So the United States will be broke up into parts. Because remember when they went and they was like, "Where you from?"
Right.
And everybody told where they from and shit.
And
but I want to go see it at the movies. Dude was like, "I'm from Missouri." Then he shot dude ass up.
Well, the dude said we're from China.
That shit was crazy.
They say from Japan, and they started crying instantly. He said, "Oh, Japan, bow, bow, kill both of them." Like,
hell yeah.
It's like, whoa. So yeah, Mama Jenkins says, let me see. She says, at this point, most people are already knowing who they're voting for. So in 13 days, this shit will be over and we can all get pissed and go watch The Young and the Restless in peace. Go piss and watch The Young and the Restless. Yeah, you go on about your business, right? Nothing to see here, especially if you're black, right? Because there has never been a presidential candidate who has done anything for us. Please don't say Abraham Lincoln. Please don't say that to me.
No,
please don't say that to me. Please don't say Barack Obama. Don't say Bill Clinton either. Don't say him either. I know we love
Lyndon B. Johnson either.
I really rocked with Bill because when I was in college, Bill was the president, and that financial aid money was flowing like the River Nile. Woo! Boy, I got every piece of money that was ever. Shit, I was living a drug dealer lifestyle off my financial aid money. I'm joking, but then when I looked into some of what happened with Bill, I'm like, he was fugazi too. He said this is Shabaka St. Cor from Shabaka's Experience Black Enhanced. Said Trump is bullying these fucking judges in these kangaroo courts. Trump is on dope. He has to be. He said fuck Lincoln, Clinton, Kennedy, and Obama. Damn, all of the freedom presidents. He said fuck them all. And Shabaka, tell us how you really feel. Listen, but I want this energy that black people have and this passion for politics to last. Because like I said, we have the midterms coming up. And I keep telling black people here, we got to figure out who the judges are. See, that's where the key gets turned at. We have to start looking at who's the Supreme Court justices, because every state has a Supreme Court. Who are we putting on those benches? If you look at the individuals now, they represent conservative. Come on, like there's no. I don't think progressiveness is allowed in the Supreme Court. I think you almost have to be like, now, is you down with? You see Clarence Thomas, and fuck black people. Dion, is Dion still with us? Okay, but I did want to say this too. What's gonna change the tide?
Yeah, I'm still here. I had to mute it. I muted it.
What's going to change the tide in this election is that people who they are not expecting to vote or people who are undecided, they're gonna determine this election. I don't want to hear y'all talking about electoral college. Please don't start with. I'm talking about amongst the popular vote, because to me, any president who doesn't win the popular vote, I don't recognize them as the president. That might be just that nigga who worked there. To me, you remember, we didn't hire you, motherfucker. So that's in itself a different situation. But I think if we at the last minute decide, let me go on up here and vote, that's gonna turn the tide of the election. That's what's gonna determine it. And so I say to black people, you want to vote for Trump? Okay, why? And please don't say because he crazy. Because that's a lot of black people answer. Man, Trump crazy, man. I like dude. Trump stood up there for 20 minutes talking about the size of Arnold Palmer's penis in Pennsylvania. It's like, whoa, he's such a man. You see him in the locker room after the golf match. He's just such a man. All the guys were impressed. That's who you want to be your president. Think about this shit, black people. Think about some of this shit dude done said and did. Got them poor Haitian people in Ohio running for their lives. Trump he's such a wild card that he's a little too wild. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, you don't want to put that motherfucker in a place where he can manipulate the machine. That's what I'm saying. It's business and it's personal. If he had all these progressive programs and all these plans for black people that would really assist them, I would really say, okay, let's give him a consideration. But I've literally heard this dude say nothing about, like, people say Kamala ain't got no policy for black people. Neither does Trump. These are black jobs. That's his policy. He said, what you got to lose? Shit, black people. What you got to lose? Fuck, you might as well vote for me. Right? Fuck it. You know, so, but Dion, I wanted to ask you this. You said you're going to have to unfriend Orlando. And I'm curious as to why you would watch Orlando. Because I know y'all have, you know, like different perspectives. But like, for me, and this is not Orlando as an individual, because I don't have a problem with him as a person.
Let me tell you why I watch,
anytime politics come involved, I know that Orlando and I can't discuss it because he is full of the Kool-Aid. He has drank an entire pitcher of the Kool-Aid.
Oh God. Yeah, he'll drink a barrel of it.
Yeah.
I watched him because you wasn't on. I enjoy that shit though. But my thing is, like, I don't knock him for what he do, but don't lie, don't fabricate it. Tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my whole thing. Don't make up these, I heard Trump today say, oh, we defeated ISIS. What? You know what I'm saying? But you ain't hear people cheering. Like, where is the fucking, ISIS been? Like, it's like, the reason it makes you mad, because it's like somebody pissing in your face telling you it's raining. If the motherfucker just tell the truth, like, hey, I like the son of a bitch, he ain't got no policy, but he do got balls, he's an ignorant motherfucker, and I can kudos. But when you make up all these lies, and then you try to convince people like the Democratic Party is so bad. First of all, like I tell a motherfucker, I could go all the way back to Nixon. The Republicans have no policy at all. None whatsoever. At least the Democrats try to protect social safety nets, regardless. And you know what? If they got welfare and all this shit, you can't get mad at a motherfucker because they abused it. That's on them. If you got on welfare and never got off, hey, sorry for you. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Motherfuckers don't get mad at these people that's out here getting this corporate welfare. You know what I'm saying? See, it's a bigger picture than that. You feel what I'm saying? So when people sit up there and tell these lies about this man and make it seem like, oh, he's the best thing since, like, you know, like I said the other day when I called the other radio station, I said, listen, Reagan and Bush and the first Bush wasn't all that. But at least they had a little swag about themselves. At least George Bush was dumb as a box of fucking rocks. You know what I'm saying? Trump is just plain stupid and dangerous. Now, if he kept his little sinister plan probably to himself, I probably wouldn't despise him so much. But I don't even know him, and I dislike him as a human being. You feel what I'm saying? No, seriously,
look, the personal side of it, like I said, business.
Yeah.
Personal business is the name of the show. Now, look, let me check this out, Darren. Give me a second. Let me see. Shabaka's in the chat room. He says, fuck the electoral college. It will be Kamala will be announcing the winner of this bullshit election 2024. Remember election 2000. You saying it's going to be Kamala who gets elected? Mama Jenkins said, look what he said about the woman funeral that was murdered. The sissy need to be walked into a 12-foot pool with no bottom and drowned. Damn. Okay. There's that personal. There's that personal part of this business. I think, you know, the funniest adage that I've heard, the funniest crock of shit that I've heard, and I've heard some whoppers during this election cycle, was the latest was with Angela Rye. And she's in this interview and she's saying people who vote for Kamala are house niggas and the people who want to vote for Trump are field niggas. And I was like, wow, she used that shit. Like, to me, I felt like she had it backwards. If you look at Kamala, whatever you call her.
Both of them slaves, whether they're a house nigga or a field nigga, they both slaves.
Right. Pick which one you want to be, right? But in terms of what they actually were during slavery, right?
You on that real?
The field nigga was the one who worked hardest and came from nothing and wanted to run away, correct? And free him or himself or herself. The house nigga was the one who was complacent with status quo and had some advantages, so in essence became sort of like a gatekeeper. He or she became the white man's tool because when they wanted you to know something, they told him or her and they informed you. They held down the house rules. They took care of the nerve center of the plantation, which was the house. The field niggas was deployed. Go work. So I feel like Kamala, if nothing else, represents a person of color who said, I'm not going to be a field nigga. She became, in essence, the vice president of the United States, an attorney general, a lawyer. That doesn't sound like a field nigga to me, right? But then I hear the sister who was in Atlanta talk about how Kamala want to break up the black family because she slept with Willie from San Francisco. I'm like, you got to be one of the dumbest bunkins I ever heard in my life. Black people in Georgia love Trump. They're saying he's doing, and down there they say we like his policy. And I'm like, okay, what policies? Okay. I'm just saying that making that comparison, that's the ultimate divisive shit. Oh, you gonna vote for Kamala? You a house nigga. That's like the worst title or label that could be put on you in our community. For somebody to say you a coon or a house nigga, it's like, who the fuck you talking to? No, I ain't. But that's what she attached to it. I don't even know if y'all heard this interview in which she said this about, you know, the people who are going to vote for Kamala are house niggas. And I was like, wow, well, that's how you've been in the black community. But this is a political circus. And vote how you want. I have nothing personal against you for whoever you vote for. In particular, because if you're a person of color, once it starts raining, we all gonna get hit. We all gonna get wet. So with your Trump loving ass, just like if you want to vote for Kamala or Kamala and she get in and start fucking up, we all gonna get wet when it rain. They say at the end of the day gonna end. That's what my daughter always says to me. Dad, you know, at the end of the day is gonna end. I'm like, damn, Taylor, I'm still in that. But yeah, man, personal business, man. How y'all feel? We getting into the stretch. I'm gonna vote. I know who I'm gonna vote for, and I'm not voting party based. I'm voting preference. I'm voting preference. And the night before I go vote, I'm gonna make sure I do a deep dive on every name that's on that ballot and what it's gonna represent. So I'll know. I don't check no boxes of motherfucker, you know, who ain't really with us. He says, or for us, which is almost impossible because to get to that level, you got to be not about us, right? You got to show your willingness to coon up or be a good house nigga, right? Like, you know, you got to be a good house nigga. You want to get, okay, I'll be good. He said Bush had his brother Jeb fuck up the election of 2000 with the tabs on the ballots. When I call in, I think we all remember that. We remember that. Nobody, look, we acknowledged on the show that the Electoral College has decided the election a couple times in the last 30 years, I believe. So yeah, it's flawed. I don't know why they won't update it in some shape, form, or fashion, but it is what it is. But I mean, anything can happen, and we got to prepare ourselves for that. I don't know if she gets elected, are you gonna be like, whew, everything gonna be better now? Whew, we made it, real. If he gets elected, are you like, oh shit, I gotta strap up? I mean, I feel like you should already been strapped up, you know, and even if she gets elected, you should be like, I gotta strap up. We don't.
I think if she get elected, it's more of a priority to strap up because they probably gonna show their ass. So I would think that's more of a influence or that's more reason to make sure you got what you need. If I don't think it's gonna go that way, because I honestly think like he probably gonna get it, but if she do, you gonna have to strap up for them that ain't happy about it, and then the rest of the world that see she's in position.
Either way, like I said, either way, you gonna have to. When it rains, we will all get wet.
She ain't Queen Elizabeth. I don't know if they respect her like that.
But you know another thing though, Kev. See, we just looking at it. I could say locally, true. I don't know, like you said, you live in a powerverse or whatever. But it's a lot of other things going on that, you know, we don't talk about. Like North Carolina. Look at Georgia. I think I sent you the link for this video called Vigilante. You understand? Down there in Arizona, all type of stuff. Look at the people when Rudy Giuliani did that shit to the last poll workers and how they life changed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's people that don't even want to work the polls. That's why the lines are a lot longer than what they were. So the Republic over in Georgia, and it was a conservative Supreme Court that said, nah, we're not going to do that. Y'all trying to do this shit at the bottom of the knife. In Georgia down there, where I can't think of the damn governor name, but anyway, with Georgia down there, do you know after all the votes were in, they wanted people to hand count the votes? The hand count them. Like, Trump them already got lawsuits in court on the election, or just in case he don't win. You know, then you got to also understand it's MAGA loyalists that they said, well, like in Virginia, and I think we talked about this on here. Virginia said, well, if Trump don't win, we're not going to certify the elections to say she won. So it's a lot of bullshit that's going on. So that's why it makes you angry when you got somebody like the gentleman we just spoke about that ain't telling the truth out here. And one thing I can say about Geraldo was talking, he said him and Trump ain't even friends no more. He said because the man, you know, he respects the Constitution. And he said the man didn't even want Brian Kemp, that's the governor's name in Georgia. The man didn't even want to respect the Constitution of the United States of America to say, hey, I lost, let me concede, let me move on. You understand what I'm saying? So it's so much going on. It's so, hello?
We're listening. You breaking up, but we can hear you.
Yeah, no, but I hear a lot of, you know, it sounds like you fell out of it that moment. I heard something fall. But there's so much going on in different states around America that make you be like, damn, is this like, why is he trying to basically steal the election before the election even happened?
So first, let me say this.
Go ahead.
I love the fact that you always say, well, you say you live in the pie-verse or whatever. Like every time, that's what you always say. Like, and you say there's a lot going on. First of all, there's no way I could talk about everything that's going on every show, right? There's no way. It's impossible. It would have to be a 4 or 5 hour show. So obviously there's some things that we don't talk about. Let me say that does not mean that I'm not fully online all the time, looking at news sources, looking at information, looking up information, doing deep dive on different subjects. So every time you say that, it just makes me laugh because you say, well, and then you say, well, you say you be on the internet, but I sent you some shit, right? And if I don't immediately read what he sent me, then he say, oh, he don't even be he don't live in the pie-verse. So it's very comical. Now I got Shabaka on the line as well. I believe I merged the call. Shabaka, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Kev? How you be? Greetings, outlaws from Sin City. What's happening?
What's going on?
Okay. All right, okay. Like I was saying, man, first place, man, was Kamala being the vice president, right? Okay. After the election is over, they got to certify the votes through the Electoral College. She will be the one announcing the winner of the electoral votes. Turn back the hands of history. Let's go back to 2000. Jeb Bush had them fucked up ballots in Florida, man, where they didn't get the full punches in them, and you had those doilies hanging off of them.
Right.
So they had motherfuckers sitting up there, man, for 3, 4, 5, 6 goddamn days, man, trying to figure this shit out. And then Al Gore with his ass, he gets up there and say, oh, well, you know, baby Bush, he's the new president, which was the beginning of all the bullshit that you got going on right now. Look at Bush's shit. Barack Obama, he wasn't shit. Fuck him, too. He's more worried about a homosexual getting penetrated in his rectum than a goddamn police murdering unarmed black people. So when he was up there in Motown, man, wagging his finger at black voters, man, fuck you, man. You ain't did shit for us. We were going out here getting killed by these motherfucking race soldiers, and you sitting out there, well, we got to go up there with the LGBT shit and all that. And then, of course, you know, the escapade that he did in Kenya when they threw his ass up out of there, man, you know, on his way to Ethiopia. And Ethiopians told him don't even bother landing in Addis Ababa. Fuck that shit he was talking over there. Well, you know, they got the human rights. They got their civil rights and the human rights, but ain't nowhere in hell a motherfucking man swinging a Johnson is going to tell me that he is a woman and shoving ketchup up his ass talking about he's menstruating. That is an insult to womanhood, sir.
Shabaka, let me ask you. Let me ask you a question though, because we are in the home stretch and a decision is going to have to be made. And I can understand your disgust for Kamala. I can understand your disgust for Obama. And I can understand your, you know, disgust for Bush and all these people. But November 5th, there will be a choice to make. Right. And I'm going to go ahead and utilize it now because it's go time. Any vote for Trump is a vote against Kamala. And any vote for Kamala is a vote against Trump. Therefore, you have to make a decision on which one you're going. I know it'd be nice to say, hell, you know, Cornel West. It'd be nice to say all these reputable people. Hell, I'd like to see the minister Farrakhan be elected president of the United States. Right. If you really want to ask me what I'd like to see. Right. But they're not on the ballot. Now, Cornel West might be on the ballot still. He's still on there? Okay. But he's not going to win.
Yeah, I believe he's still on the ballot.
Because the deck is stacked against him anyways, because, see, some states, man, you cannot write in candidates. You're saying, I'm just learning how they do shit here in Nevada. You cannot write in candidates.
He's not a write-in candidate. He's on the ballot.
Oh, he is on the ballot. Yes. Okay, is he on the ballot in all 50 states, though?
Listen, somebody tell me this, because in order to know what his policies are, you really got to go to his website and read. Because I don't hear his voice. Well, you hear him? When the last time you seen a Cornel West commercial? We said the commercials are lies, right? But is to create awareness. So just one Cornel West commercial would have helped. Just to come on and say, hey, I'm Cornel West, and I approve this message. No, nobody's even talked about you. You wasn't at no debate.
Do we got the funding? Do he got the, you know, do he got the money?
So it'd be admirable, and if you want props in the hood to go in the barbershop and say, I tell you what, I voted for Cornel motherfucking West. Yeah, well, you just wasted a vote.
Well, he's on the ballot in Colorado. Yeah. You know, parents was telling me that he's on the ballot in Colorado.
He's on the ballot in Wisconsin.
Okay, he's on your ballot in Wisconsin as well, too?
I think there's only a couple states that he's not on. What is it, bro?
I believe so. I mean, that's more than likely that's who I'm voting for, because I can't bring myself to vote for either of the other two.
Well, here you go, black people who so smart and advanced with y'all pro-black asses and power to the people asses. All y'all James Brown fans who gonna vote for Cornel West. He's pro-vaccine.
And he married to a white woman, so he'll never get my vote.
Whoa,
he ain't gonna win, but at least he ain't gotta vote for
he wants everybody to get slammed with that shit.
See, Cornel West is very crafty in the way he says this. I dug into his website. No Diddy.
Okay.
No Diddy. I dug into his website. You got to be aware of what you're saying nowadays. But there's a statement, you can Google it and find out his opinion in terms of the vaccinations. And what he said in a slick way is that he feels like the mission of the people who do Fauci and all those people, they're what they have to do is come back to black people and show black people that they're not against
no longer the Tuskegee.
Right.
Yeah, he was saying this ain't the Tuskegee days. I remember what he said.
And he said we should then trust them and basically do what they say. Right? Which is take the motherfucking vaccine.
Come on, Kev, I know y'all in Milwaukee ain't going for that bullshit as we say in South Central Los Angeles.
Well, not just Milwaukee. Hold on. Because Rail is in Milwaukee. He just said he was gonna vote for him. But Rail is anti-vax.
I definitely am, but I know he ain't gonna win.
Oh my God!
So it's like a knee type shit, you know. If I vote for anybody, like I said, I'm not voting for Kamala. I'm not voting for Trump. So either I'm gonna write in Yeezus or I could vote for Cornell. Neither one of them gonna win, but at least
it's a wasted vote. Is my point. That's the
reality. But at the end of the day, I'm not going against my own personal conviction.
Well, why even burn the gas? Just chill at the crib, like
because I can still vote. I mean, I can do the one thing, but like I said, I was gonna vote for the other. You know, in regards to the Baldwins.
There's other people. You're right. There's other people on the ballot.
Yeah, this ain't like fuck the president, them, but I still gotta see who's gonna be controlling shit.
You get insurance from your job, or you use the ACA.
I get insurance through my job.
Do your children or anybody in your family get any type of government assistance, Medicare, food stamps, anything?
Damn, no, that's his personal business.
Sure. I'm sure.
No, I'm just wondering because if you don't want that anymore, then
vote for Cornell West.
No.
Brother's talking about extortion. So if you got federal programs going on, you don't get the vax, well, we'll cut you off your aid and all that shit. That's extortion.
Oh, no, Trump is going to cut he's going to cut all of that. Yeah, he's going to cut all that. Like programs like this, what Kevin doing, the FCC, he want CBS and ABC's license to be revoked. That's why I tell people to read the mandate. It's to call a mandate for leadership.
Yes, sir.
Better known as Project 2025.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So if you enjoy some of the little pearls and things that you like to do, you better think about that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm about to mute y'all again because I'm driving.
It's all right, good.
So basically, what the brother is saying is, Cam, is that this motherfucker's full of extortion. Kamala the same goddamn way, man. It's because Kamala left a whole lot of convicted brothers who were supposed to get out of prison, man, for the MJ, and she just left them sitting there.
Hold on. Well, that's what he was saying was that Trump is not in favor of any social service programs. So when we talk about programs,
I agree, and I understand that, and Trump is not.
And those programs that are in the community in which you can get aid, or I think that's why he asked you the question of.
Yeah, he basically said, if I waste my vote by voting for somebody I know I win instead of voting against the boogeyman,
right?
I'm selling my family up the river.
Well, I mean, it's not to those extremes. I think, and this is my own personal opinion. I think once you cast your vote and things get to be a certain way, then you got to live on that island. You got to die on that island. So if Trump pulls off all these egregious things, I think we have to directly look at people who were Trump supporters and say, this is your fucking fault.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, without a doubt, Kev. Yeah, without a doubt.
But it'll go beyond that. Like, did you vote for Kamala? If you didn't, it's your fault. Like, did you stay home? It's your fault. I done survived all of them.
You voted for Cornell West?
Survive the next 4 years.
We hope, right?
Keep doing what I do. I don't. There is no savior in the White House. I'm gonna keep trying to run up my bag, get me some land, and get as close to sovereignty as possible, no matter who the fuck.
Production is what we need to control, brother. Yes, sir. You're damn right. We need to control our own factors of production. Is because when you look at this internet shit, man, look at the main motherfuckers who's running. People from India, people from China over there. All them groups believe in doing for themselves and hiring themselves and what have you. And this is why you see so many of our people having to go to these individuals for jobs and all that. Oh no, we got that right now. You know, we got better something that's over here. What's for us? You know, you go in there and you see these family operations with these people from these areas, man, and they upgrading the quality of life for themselves. Now, also too, Kev, if I may say, with your permission, man, please check out Grand Rising with Shabak and the Chase this Friday, because we're going to have a brother from down south, man, who's going to be our guest host, man, you know, giving us some information on some very, very foul shit that's happening in Shreveport. I think you acquainted with him, man, but he did some more further digging, man. He's got something very, very interesting. So if you guys are available, definitely check with us on Friday morning, man, and it will be at 10 a.m., man. Wait a minute. You guys are in the Central Time Zone, right?
Right.
Yeah, same time in Chicago. Okay, so therefore it will be 10 a.m. your time, 11 a.m. in the East, you know, and out here in the West, it will be at 8 a.m. and in the Mountain Time Zone, it will be at 9 a.m.
Okay.
You know, because that brother, he came across some very, very devastating and some very, very weird shit, man, that could be part of the Project 2025 already in the making.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So one of the biggest things that we hear with this election is about this LGBTQ agenda.
That bullshit. Oh, man.
One of the biggest topics is transgenders who've been given rights to play and compete in female sports, and bathroom usage and bathroom types have been changed, and we have pronouns now, and there's really just kind of like this aggressive agenda being put in place to make sure that people who are LGBTQ get their fair share of rights and privileges, and you know, and all this kind of stuff as Americans. But the spirit of I call it the gay spirit in the country, in America, because, and it's really just, it's kind of trickled down. There's a gay, America has a really gay spirit, right? Yeah, because at this point, I think this is probably the most pro-homosexual we've ever been in the history of our country, right? And so
go to San Francisco.
So when I look at what's going on in some of the latest things in the news, I see Brittany Griner. Like, and I got to give Brittany Griner one of these. And I know Brittany Griner was in a prison in Russia. But somebody correct me if I'm wrong. There was a photograph of her with her shirt off, and she really looked like a man. She looked like her chest in terms of, it's like, whoa, is she really a female? Like, first of all, has she been transgender this whole time and we didn't know it? And that's one thing. But the second thing is, she says, because I think currently her wife or her fiance or whoever is about to have a baby. And this is where the gay spirit has taken on America, because when something starts to taking over America, because when something starts to hurt children, this is when I get a problem with it. I don't think that this cross fertilization of, you know, two gay people go and get a child. First of all, understand that two people of the same sex cannot reproduce. Yeah, that's impossible. Man and a man cannot reproduce. Yeah, a woman and a woman cannot reproduce. And that is the natural order of things, whether anyone likes it or not. I didn't make it this way. This is the way it is. It takes a man and a woman to have a baby. Well, nowadays we have these situations where two lesbians can be together, and somehow you can use my egg and put somebody else's sperm and put it in your body, and then we're going to have us a kid. And so I see Brittany Griner coming up. They're asking her about her baby coming up, and she says, well, that baby ain't gonna call me moms. I'm pops. Yeah, well, look at the brat, you know, who went through the same. But hold on, I want to finish. I want to talk about Brittany Griner for a minute, because she represents the gay spirit of America. Because she says, I'm pops, and there is a narrative amongst gay couples right now that basically eliminates the heterosexual male. And I don't understand how you take the heterosexual male out of reproduction. I don't know how all of a sudden one of the most crucial parts is It's like what they're saying, the robot's going to come out now, and men are no longer even have sex with women.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have sex with these robots who will then have a egg or something in them. And like you've seen this wild shit though, real, right? You've seen this, right?
Right.
I seen they said like Slim Thug said that as soon as you can have
I didn't get
sex
my
with a
information
robot.
from Slim Thug. No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, I think they were saying I seen a quote or something saying that as soon as they get it to where robots can have sex, we ain't gonna need women for nothing or something.
Right,
But
and that's further down the line. But I guess
is it? I mean, they got real dials. They've been having them shit since the 90s for men, and then even women. Like there's mannequins, motherfuckers fucking now. So I mean,
but that mannequin can't have a child.
I don't think robots will ever be able to have a child.
Well, I mean, if you put a situation where we can take the egg and put it in the robot, and the machine knows how to keep the right temperature and how to nourish it, and I'm saying you don't know where technology is going, but that was further ahead. What I wanted to focus on was the whole thing with her, and then you look at Shabaka referenced to Brat, and her wife have a baby, and people are looking at this and like, oh, that's just normal, and it's not.
Shit.
It's not normal. It's like, first of all, I think, where does that child ground him or herself at? That child is born into a world confused about everything off top.
Yes, sir.
I got two mamas. Wait, you got a mama and a daddy? Wait, hold on. You got a mama and now I got two daddies. That child is going to have to confront sexuality way earlier than he or she should normally have to. Because that got to be explained as soon as he or she can start talking. Well, mama and mama love each other, and we got married, and the kid is like, wait a minute, how does this happen? Wait, why you like it for? I just feel like it puts our kids in a position where the needle is moved too fast for them. I think a child should be allowed to be a child, and I don't think a child should be thinking anything sexual until they get of age. Now I know we was bad little kids or whatever, but I don't to have kids now talking about, oh, I'm 8 and I like girls. Well, you ain't lived enough life to even know what you like yet. So I just feel like the gay spirit of America, in which we just really want to just say and normalize this. And this is what some people want. They want to normalize homosexuality and just say, nah, this is a thing. When you start taking us as men out of the process, I'm like, wait a minute. Something seemed off about this. So when I seen the Brittany Griner thing, it just got me to thinking, like, wait, what's really going on? Like, so men and women ain't required no more to start a family? Like, this is...
I mean, they still needed nut. So, I mean, the man was in there somewhere. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't get away from...
You can't get away from it.
An egg into a zygote or whatever the fuck it's called, spermatozoa or whatever.
Yeah.
Until they can mutate an egg into a sperm, you cannot get away from it takes an XX and an XY to reproduce life. I mean, it causes maybe a conversation for them in their household and their child, but my child ain't affected by this woman wanting to be called pops or raising.
Well, I mean, if your child goes to school with that little girl and she says to her, "Why you got two mamas?" Because I got a mama and a daddy. Then the little girl's good. Well, because my mama says she like girls, she don't like men. Now your daughter's saying, huh? So when she get in the car, daddy,
we had that talk. Like we already have that talk. Like, I mean, at my house, I got a 15-year-old daughter, 10-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old daughter, and a 3-year-old son. So even when they do bro too much, no, that's not your bro, that's your sister. That is a female child that will grow up to be a woman. That's your brother. He's a male child that will grow up to be a man. You all, in order to have children, will have husbands and wives one day. And that's how I get grandchildren, but not until you're married or out of college. Like, we had that talk now. 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 10-year-old, 15-year-old.
We wasn't, when my daughter was 5, we wasn't talking about sexuality at all.
They being exposed to it, so it's like trying not to talk to. And I feel where you at, because I was upset not too long ago when my daughter was took to church, and now she telling me she don't want to die, and it's like, dude, you couldn't just be a fucking kid. You got to be introduced to, So, but the result is you can't keep your kids in a bubble. So you just gotta be.
It's not about the bubble, though, real. It's not about the bubble. I'm not one who believes in that, but I do believe I have the right to dictate the pace
Right.
of my
You
child
and you
growing up.
definitely do. You should.
I don't hold on. I'm not under the impression that there won't be things out there that my daughter sees or my son sees that they won't come to me and say, "Hey, Dad, what's this?"
Right.
But I'm saying, as a parent, when that question would come from a 5-year-old, I would say, "Well, listen, some people are just different, baby girl. You don't even need to worry about that. That ain't got nothing to do with you. Sooner or later, we'll have a talk about that. But right now, you just if she got 2 mamas, let her have 2 mamas. I don't need you asking her why or nothing."
Right.
And for my daughter, it was like, okay.
That's what goes on in their house.
That's the girl with the 2
one of
mamas.
y'all wrong.
What?
I don't think either one of y'all wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you both can be right in this situation. It's just about how you choose to raise your child.
Right.
Like in real case, he choose to explain it so they can get an understanding now. Because the truth is, it is a lot more going on out here when they do go to school and everything, and their friends talking about this, and you know what I mean? In a sense, I would rather them hear from me. And then Kev, like when our kids, well, my oldest daughter, when she was younger, you know what I mean? Even 10 years ago, it was a different climate a little bit out here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To where it was like, well, no, I ain't finna talk to you about it. We ain't got to talk about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because kids wasn't talking about it so much back then. They was, but they wasn't. You know, but now it's out here. Social media, radio, all the music that's on the radio. You got girls talking about messing with girls on the songs on the radio.
The unfortunate thing is my kids were my bad. My kids were just watching YouTube not too long ago, watching it's a dude named Phonics, man. He go over like different words and shit. But in between the commercials, it was like Tammy Baldwin, too extreme. She wants to have transsexual men in a like some kind of safety home for women. And I asked my lady, I said, damn, they don't post these commercials with an age restriction, like so even when your kids watching children's programming on YouTube, they still getting exposed. What's a transsexual? You know, because it's still coming in as a commercial between Phonics Man and Barney.
I think, first of all, I don't think you understand what I'm saying, because you said 10 years ago. 10 years ago, 2014 was wild. It was wild as it is now.
Don't quote me on the year.
Okay. I hear you. I'm not quoting you on the year. I'm just saying. Even if I go to my own childhood, 30 years ago, it was shit out here that I wasn't supposed to have access to as a youngster that I did. So I understand you can't have your child in a bubble. My point is that even then, when my limited understanding encountered something and I did ask the question, I was put in a place that a child should be put in, right? So if I asked my mom a question like, hey, well, what's this? Like, case in point, found a whole big container of Hustler magazines, right? I distribute them to the neighborhood. We had a whole network going, right? I couldn't have been no more than 9-10 years old. And you know, Hustler pioneered the actual penetration pictures and things like that, right? So one of the homies got caught, right? And you know what cats do when they get caught by mama, right? He gonna sing a song, right? So all of a sudden my mom's getting calls from other mothers saying, do you know these boys is looking at these magazines? And I found my son, I'm telling you, I found a case of them. It had to be at least 100 of them. So everybody had like 9 issues, right? So when my mother went and found my brother and I stash, right? And she said, oh, this what y'all looking at. We sitting there like, eesh. But the way she explained it to us was her attempt at keeping the pacing straight, right? Because I'm gonna tell you this, she told me at that point, now just hear me out. She said, this is fake. This is a blow-up doll. Nobody in their right mind would let somebody bend over and let somebody do this to them, right? This is fake. You don't need to even think about this as reality. It was a blatant lie, right? But you know what happened, Real? I went for years after that thinking that shit was fake. So as a child, I kept that mind state until I got old enough to understand, wait a minute, that shit is real as hell. But I was already of age. So I'm saying just pacing your child. My daughter's 21 now. The way we even discuss relationships and sex like that is, I'm trying to tell you the right thing to do, knowing that you're exposed to a whole bunch of different shit, right? So I'm not arguing or saying you're wrong because you're doing it your way. There is no wrong way to do it, because even the right way can be wrong. So, you can try to protect your kids all you want. They can turn out to be fucking terrorists. You're like, I did all I could for that little motherfucker. But I just think the gay spirit, the enforcing of, no, it's okay. Be gay, be gay, be gay. That's why we have more little kids now. There was not that many little kids in my elementary school who were talking about they was gay.
Well,
that wasn't feminine.
That's why Real chooses to talk to his kids about it.
Okay. That's
why I said both of y'all right.
I know. I don't think it's about who's right and who's wrong. It's a discussion. So I wasn't even saying he was wrong.
Well, I'm saying that for the sake of anybody who listening and may be trying to figure out the right way to do it. I'm just putting it out there that both of y'all right.
The best way to do it is the best way you can.
That's right.
Shit.
That's right.
Ain't no motherfucker got no manual for this shit, right? You can take a little bit of what I said that you agree with and what Rail says, and you make your own model, right? And so oftentimes when we have discussions, I think people assume, well, somebody's right and somebody's wrong. That's not necessarily the case all the time in conversations. In debates it is, but not in a conversation, because obviously if I ask you a question, I'm trying to hear your opinion. Right. So if I didn't care what you thought, I wouldn't ask you shit. I ain't know this motherfucker don't know nothing. I ain't talking to him.
The issue though is this, like, no matter how well you raise your children, if they go to school, somebody else has their attention and ear for 7-8 hours of a day. You may have it an hour in the morning, 3 hours at night, but your shit can't compare to the knuckleheads and stupidity they might be exposed to just going to school for a day.
If you control the food, you kind of can, though. Like, if you control the resources and the food, your word should have more weight. Because I'm going to tell you, my kid shouldn't be quicker to listen to his homeboy at school than he is to listen to me. You see what I'm saying? Like, he shouldn't be like, fuck what my daddy talking about, cuz, what was you saying?
That's how it should be.
I mean, like, because if that is, then you got an issue, right? And once again, I don't compare myself to any other father. I'm not comparing any other father to myself. The way I figured it is to be a proactive parent. So to already be watching and monitoring your kids. And I know what I done told you. So if you come with some new shit, my first thing is, where you hear that at? Right? Because if a kid is heavily sexual at an early age, you got to say, where is you learning this from? Who you been around? Who have I had my kids around? Has somebody touched you? Who has somebody violated? You have to, you know what I'm saying?
You had them conversations.
Right. Your 5-year-old should be like, yeah, ooh, yeah. She shouldn't be like, really, daddy? Tell me more about pubic hair. Like, what the fuck? Where you hear that shit at? So then we can't send her over there no more. She came home talking about pubic hair. What you doing over there? I had to call my cousin or my brother, like, hey, man, what the fuck y'all doing over there, man? What y'all watching? Turn Instagram off. Shabaka says social media is headquartered in and around San Francisco, which is expected by them. Plus, they have a lot in Los Angeles, where Hollywood is. This is how they're pushing and forcing that bullshit on our children. I watch this show and I torture myself. It's called All American Homecoming on the CW. If you ever watch All American, I used to watch that just because, first of all, I support Black people doing anything when we get opportunities to have shows and platforms. But it's so cornball. It's just so corny. And then guess what? One of the main characters it's a young brother. They're supposed to be in college. He wears full female clothes, but he has a goatee. Like, I gotta fast forward every scene that he's in because it's that sell to our kids to say, oh, he's trending. He's hot on Instagram. He has a following. You got a whole skirt on and you got a goatee with a wig, got the nails, everything. And they even refer to him as a she on the show. So yeah, these images are really just kind of, they just kind of throw them in our kids' face. Because this should be a simple 50-90210 type, where your teenagers, hey, you go watch All American. Then you watch it with them and be like, this the shit they got on here? So that whole agenda just feels a little forced on me right now. Once again, I'm not anti-gay. I just feel like, there's an aggressive push to it. And I feel like it's dangled out in front of our kids now. Because the one thing we all know about a kid is they don't know shit. They're lumps, they lumps of clay. You can mold them. You do. I think a lot of parents have given up real. And Kamar, I think a lot of parents look at it like, you know what, it ain't shit I can do. Because these music and the TV shows but I say, no, there is something you can do. Raise your child. Be really proactive with them. Talk to them. Watch their behaviors. If I know my son, I know my son in and out. If he come home right now and he's moving different, my whole thing is, what happened? What's going on? Something happened. This ain't you. I know your movements. This is when we don't watch them or communicate with them enough, then they go out here and they embrace these outside influences. So now he's sitting at the table with his nails painted. What the fuck you doing? Oh, my guys do this. It's all good. No, son, it's not. Not in my house, nor is it acceptable. I'm not a little boosie or nothing, but you can't do that in my house. I'm just saying. I think for us as heterosexual people, I think we need to have some parenting classes. And there has to be a training on how do you deal with this super pro-gay world. If you want your children, let's be honest, I want my children to be heterosexual because, that increases the possibility of me actually having grandkids and my legacy growing. So if you say, what? You want your kids? Yes. I hope my son and my daughter are straight. So we need to have some training on how do we deal with this super, because you don't want to explain it to them like, well, they ain't shit because they gay or they deserve to be beaten, or you don't want to do it like that. You just want to say that's something you shouldn't invest in, son.
I mean, you could just tell them like what I do, real shit. Like I tell my children the facts. Like, I guess I can't say the truth, but I'll just say the facts. I tell my children the purpose of life is to live long enough to reproduce, to keep your genetic information going. Whether you religious and think be fruitful and multiply, or whether you scientific and say the purpose of life is to keep your genetics going. That cannot come about any other way naturally as of yet, besides the XX and the XY reproducing. Now the issue is there's so many cynical, unhappy people now that's just so disenchanted with life that you will hear motherfuckers say, why would you want to bring a kid up in this world? Like, no, fuck all that. In order for, if we go 3-4 generations back, it took at least 16 people coming together for me to be here today. If we go any further back, and that's how I look at it. In my past, in my legacy, a motherfucker might have had to outrun a bear, make sure he didn't eat the wrong plant, get to another location for water, just for my ass to be here thousands of years later. I'm not going to be the self-centered motherfucker that say, fuck all your efforts, this shit ends with me. I'm going to live a life that isn't producing life some kind of way. But again, that goes back to teaching people to reverence their ancestors and to not consider it, demonic.
Okay. Dope. What you said was golden. And I love the fact that you're talking about it took because I don't think we think about how many people it actually took for me to get here, right? Like that's deep right there. You went there on that one. I'll give you your credit on that one because it hit my mind as soon as you said it. Like, damn. So my mama, my daddy, my grandparents, my great-great-grandparents, my great-great-grandparents, and then, you know, some of them may have been raised by an uncle or auntie or a cousin. So it took like that's a whole process.
That's just 4 generations back, and we done been here at least 250,000 years.
Right. So yeah, but you know, I think of it real as more or less like, okay, what sometimes we don't explain what's traditional and what's outside the box, right? And so with my son, I would say, you know, the traditional way is for you to become a man one day, get your own family, have some kids. I'll be a granddad, you'll be a father, then they have some kids, you'll be a granddad. That's the natural way. But there are people who live alternative lifestyles now, right? And understand with those decisions, there are, I would just say repercussions, or you want to say consequences, but I mean, you do give up, you forfeit the right to reproduce. Well, until lately, because now there is a mandate on let's come up with a way so even those people can reproduce. So, what do we have? What do we have? The lady, who was the transgender people were mad at Tiffany Haddish because they said that she said that you know, if you can't have no period, you're not a woman. And they said, well, just because you got a period, that don't give you just the sole ownership of femininity. I'm like, it kind of does. It's kind of
you gotta have a womb to have a period, which makes you a womb man, a woman.
Okay, Rail. So I'm feeling like that there's just kind of like an attempt to blur these gender lines when I don't think they should be blurred. And I'm saying that because, okay, say you want to choose one, right? Like you say, well, I'm a man or a woman. I don't think we should blur it to the point where just say, well, for people who say I'm neither. I'm not a man or a woman. Like I seen the individual said he's non-binary, but he had a dress on. It seems like to me you've chose a binary. You chose the woman, right? Like you chose the woman side. So maybe I'm just confused by it. I don't, I'm just me thinking out loud. So
I don't know. I just try to explain to mine what's going on. But that's another reason a lot of people are upset with the liberal side, because they feel like there might be an agenda for population control when you're allowing the aborting of possible life and then pushing, or not even pushing, but presenting a lifestyle that isn't naturally conducive to life. It make you kind of wonder if that whole because I look at it like this: like if they did ban abortion nationwide, I mean, that was to kind of push white people into keeping their kids because they're at a negative birth rate. But what they don't understand is if they ban abortion, you got blacks, you got Puerto Ricans, you got Asians. Now you got a shitload of people who are a whole lot more fertile, a whole lot more capable of carrying their children full term, who ain't at a negative birth rate, now also being forced to have their children. So I'm like, even if they banned it, it wouldn't be banned too long when they realize that they're just even making it more rapid to be outnumbered.
So number one, I don't understand why there is such a pronounced agenda to, I guess, punish women for having abortions. I mean, if you look at it from, well, morally, people say we are actually killing another human. That's always been kind of the argument, right? But if we look at Planned Parenthood, which is one of the biggest agencies in the United States in terms of abortion and this whole thing, which was established by Margaret Sanger, it was really established as a racist initiative to limit Black people from having children because they call it the Negro problem, in which Black people had left the South and were now moving into these cities, and they had started to get jobs here and there, whatever. So they, like you said, they went to having babies. Exactly. So white people was looking around saying, "Oh my God, they're like rabbits." 20 Negroes 2 years ago, it's 40,000 now. So Margaret Sanger was eugenics. Right. It's basically like, okay, if somebody's poor or they live in these communities, We need to regulate their ability to have children, right? And through some of these programs, they sterilized. They
Yes.
told the women they were giving them abortions, but they sterilized women.
Puerto Rico, Guatemala, the Guatemalan
Yes.
STD.
Yes.
Man, it's so many, and people don't understand that after they pay to have this procedure done to alleviate them from a responsibility their decision brought on, they pay them to have that procedure, but then a lot of times they were turning around and selling the aborted fetuses on the black market. They charge you to scrape it out, and then they turn around and sell it to people for stem cells, for all kind of shit.
But also with this though, brothers, like I'm pro-life, right? And so I'm not necessarily. Let's make it more personal for all of us. A woman comes to me and says, "I'm pregnant." No matter what situation I'm in, if I'm poor or if I'm, in a relationship or whatever, I'm gonna have to say, "Well, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to raise this kid." The thought never comes to my head like, "You should go and get an abortion."
Shit, nowadays it ain't got to come to your head. It's her thought. I need some money.
Plan B.
Like, unfortunately, now as a man, if they come to you saying they pregnant, all you allowed to say is, "Well, what you gonna do?
What you gonna?" But and it was like
What
that
you
for me
gonna do?
too. That's why I said I don't suggest it, but I would say, "Hey, man, don't kill my baby." If she said no, my mind is made up, this is what I'm gonna do, I'd be like, "Damn, it was her decision to make." So that means I don't necessarily agree with it. If I had a homeboy who was like, "Man, I got this, I'm gonna make my girl get an abortion," I'm like, "Damn, cuz for real? Like, what's the issue? Like, why you don't want to?" But it's a personal decision, is what I'm saying. And so I didn't, when it comes to how Margaret Sanger was utilizing it, I'm totally against that. Don't come into our community sterilizing our women. Don't sell it to poor women. Well, if you're poor, you shouldn't have this black baby, because sometimes that baby will inspire you to get up off your ass and get up out of that poor community. Or you never know who that child could be, right? So I think that that she had an agenda to kind of, wipe us out. And who said that? That was Shabaka who spoke to an agenda. And Real, you always talk about this, to encourage the homosexual thing for us so that our birth rate will be down. That's an interesting thought. I wonder, is there any merit to that? Like, is there still an agenda like, look, let's push homosexuality?
I'm gonna look for the book, but I think it was a book talking about the white population negative birth rate and the whole agendas of slowing down our reproduction.
Okay, I don't have facts on it. That's what I'm asking. I don't like to throw nothing out there. You muted, brother.
I was saying, I feel like that's what seedless fruit possibly could be about. You are what you eat. So if we eating seedless fruit, it may fuck our seeds up.
And some of the other stuff that they putting in the food, Kamar, which we don't know. Look, McDonald's got the E. coli right now. They just came out with a chicken Big Mac, and now the Quarter Pounders got E. coli, right? And I'm gonna tell you the truth. Had I not taken on this kind of oath to just chill with the fast food, like in February, I probably would have had me a because that's like one of the things I eat when I was eating from McDonald's frequently was a Quarter Pounder with cheese. It's like, give me that, So the E. coli, and it's in 10 states, Wisconsin being one of them. 49 people, when I got the information, it was 49 people affected, and I think at that point one child had passed. And so, E. coli is a result of the meat coming into contact with feces, I believe, ain't it?
I thought so.
So how the Quarter Pounders get some shit on them?
They probably slaughtered them fucked up.
Okay.
Slaughtered the cow fucked up probably.
Okay.
Shit got in the grinder or something.
Yeah.
Or I think it also can come from if the vegetation is watered by like shit water in the cow, or that might be listeria. I might be getting it's so much foodborne shit.
Yeah, I'm just like, imagine the threat of, because kids love McDonald's, right? And so imagine if it was the kids' meals with the little, I threw my kids them Happy Meals. It's here. And you know, imagine that. And that was, like I said, one young brother has died that I know of. There may be more deaths at this point because it's continuing to be a big thing. But it's crazy to think that we all know that food is not bad, is not good for us, but now it's really deadly. Like, I think McDonald's will take a hit for this shit.
Yeah, they will. I mean, it ain't gonna be a hit for long. You know, you might see their stock shares go down for about a month or two. So then you catch some for the rebound type shit.
I'm old enough to remember Sizzler. And Sizzler had an E. coli break, and that shit was over. Every last one of them closed down. I'm knowing this, they're not on the the scope of McDonald's. McDonald's is a global, you dig, like, but I'm just saying that E. coli can ruin you. Like if it's food, because people will stop buying, man.
They lose trust in your product, and if they scared to eat your product,
Yeah,
man, yeah,
man. I'm also seeing the news floating around because we're talking about children. You know, in Milwaukee, I don't know if we're paying attention to this epidemic of missing children. And yeah, there's this whole year, there's just been a rash of missing young people. And I'm wondering if part of this is because you have parents who I see all the time who just ain't paying attention to their kids. Or is it like a real serious thing where it's we out to get little black babies? But like, okay, so I'm driving sometimes and I see a little small child outside playing in the yard. And I'm thinking to myself, where's the adult? Because when my children were a certain size, they wasn't going more than 5 feet away from me. If I'm sitting on the porch and they're on the little sidewalk, or if one of them looked at the street, I'd be like, don't you go on that street. Like, I'm not, my phone ain't ringing. I'm finna run upstairs and get it and leave them on the porch. Y'all stay on the porch. No, y'all come on in here. I got to go get my phone. And I see a lot of people who are careless with their children. I'm hoping that, and some of these kids are running away too, you know, and we know that there's sex trafficking out here and all kinds of things. It didn't stop when they locked up the diddler. So,
and then some of them, they get found a day later. They was at their boyfriend's mama house and she knew they was there. Like you remember?
Oh, that's the moment when Rail freezes during the show. There it go. He was finna get on one too.
Right when he was finna get to it.
Right, he was finna get on one too. And Rail will get his weight up with his internet. But no, I like I said, man, I'm because I watch all these trends of what's happening to us in the community. And I start to say, okay, what's really going on? And my kids are grown now, but I still remember just being a parent and just like, that's a nightmare for me to go in the house and I'm not paying attention and something happened to one of my children. My life would have been fucked. I would have been every night. I would have been mad as hell at myself. Shabaka said it's an agenda to wipe us out. Okay. There's a lot of people who say that. Dion said, I'm calling. What's going on? Dion, I don't see no phone from you. I don't see no little icon for a missed call, brother. Hold on, let me see. I might be wrong because I be missing shit, as they say. You see who the last caller was? Okay, you did call. I must have missed it, Dion, because I'm looking at the screen. Hit me up. We'll get you back in. But yeah, man. It's a lot going on, especially with these kids in this city, man. With Milwaukee, the youth right now, especially with MPS, like MPS it's such a mess. Kamar, did you see this story where, and I think we talked about this, where they took 2 schools the rest of their season, all their wins, and told them they can't go to the playoffs because they didn't file a paperwork in time. They're being taken to court because they didn't get the resource officers into the schools, and that was a requirement of the, I think, Act 10 or Act 12, whatever the fuck it was. It's like MPS. What's the paperwork?
They need to be ashamed of themselves, man.
Really though.
Straight up. You don't do your job, and then the kids got to be at fault.
Yeah.
And then they like fuck them kids.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. If you, as a parent, you got to look at this, especially if you got young children. because their education is very important. And that's one of your responsibilities as a parent too, to make sure your child is at least in a position to receive a quality education and to provide the reinforcement where there needs to be reinforcing in terms of their skills and their skills development. Meaning, if your child is struggling with reading as a parent, it's your responsibility to get he or she some help. It's not enough for you to say, I sent him to school. Especially now when you see how is anything working in MPS? It's anything. I hear people whose children attend MPS schools and they give me a long list of how bad the schools are. And in some places, the adults in the school are just like, man, they do what they want to do. Oh, well. And I'm like, okay. Now I'm starting to support the theory that maybe we need to break MPS up. Maybe it's too big to manage. We see that our leadership, if you fumble a $1.5 billion bag, you need to, your whole shit got to get broken down, right? And so maybe we do need to break it down. Maybe we do need to say, okay, South Side, East Side, North Side, West Side. And have governing bodies for those schools. It doesn't mean that you can't come from that school to go to another district. Like you can, like if I'm from the North, I can't go to the South Side. It just simply means that the people on the South Side are governing their schools and they're making sure they're managed correctly and the curriculum is relevant and children are going to school. One of the biggest problems with MPS that we have talked about that I didn't hear a whole lot of people talk about is the truancy rate. Even after you find the $20-some million that's missing, after you get the resource officers in the school, after you get the football team as victories back, you still got a 50% rate of kids not going to school. You still have that issue. 50% of the children damn near in the school system in MPS don't go to school. Truancy is a very big problem. So we got a whole bunch of shit to figure out with MPS. And I ain't charter schools, you ain't doing no better. Private schools, you ain't doing no better. I can't say I don't have a problem with the quality of education my son received at Milwaukee Lutheran, but some of the shit they did was not within the best interest of our children. Even just how they, kind of, some of that stuff was just like, I'm like, I don't really agree with that. But the quality of education I can say was there. And I know people say, my kids went to Milwaukee's Lutheran, that school wasn't shit. Maybe it wasn't for you and yours. But I just compared it to my son. I'm like, look, MPS, no. When he went to high school, there was no way I could send him to an MPS school. I was just like, no, they don't even have an option, especially since he said he didn't want to go to King, where my daughter had just graduated from. And my daughter used to tell me, Dad, King ain't what it was when you went there. Trust me. They are feeling the effects of MPS as well. So what are we going to do about MPS, man? Because the mayor, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't run that. The school board is in a flux. There's attempted recalls, right? It's so much chaos going on with MPS. And the cherry on the sundae is them not filing the paperwork in time with the WIAA. And the kids... Not only did they say y'all forfeit the victories for this year, you can't go to the playoffs for 2 years in a row. Now, first of all, I'm like, even from the state's perspective, if they didn't get the paperwork, how is it the kids' fault? Why would you dish out this crazy punishment knowing this ain't the kids, this is MPS? You're not punishing MPS, you punishing the kids. So that shit was wacky, man. It's just wacky. I played in the city conference, and it was a lot tighter than it is now. It was nothing like, but like Kamar said, this is a different time. It's a whole lot of shit going on right now. Let's be honest. Our kids have access to shit that they shouldn't. They are doing things right now, and they believe that they are emulating grown people. But in reality, they fucking their lives up because you ain't ready for that shit yet. The one thing about being grown is you are old enough to deal with certain stuff. Like I can drink some alcohol as long as I don't do too much and know how to handle it. I can still get up and be where I need to be. I'm not going to lose my mind and fuck my whole family up. But I'm 48 years old. You 14. A sip of beer had your ass sideways. So you sure as fuck ain't got no business out here trying to drink some Hennessy or some, we drink a lean, a 1738. You 15, your system cannot accommodate that yet. But, and especially with these pills, oh my gosh, boy, these youngsters popping these pills, man. What they call them, perkies? I didn't really know it was as serious as it is with the young people with the Percocets and the Vicodins. Like they really do these pills, man. And it's like, man, you setting yourself up for ooh-wee. What's next? What can you find that's gonna equal that? Like once your tolerance get high off that, with heroin, crack is the natural.
Like in the South, I guess Atlanta, or something like that. They got these flavored cans of like nitrous oxide. They supposed to be for Cool Whip or whipped cream, but now they huffing those and shit.
Yikes. Man. And we, as far as weed goes, this is why I don't understand why the city won't just go ahead and legalize marijuana. People act like it's legal here. You smell it everywhere I go. You know, I be pulling up at lights sometimes and it be so strong that it feel like it's in my car. I'm like, what the hell is youngsters be out here? You got these CBD stores. I don't want to put nobody on blast. You think it ain't some shit moving through these stores, these tobacco stores, popping up in the hood. And I got the perfect front. I got legal jars of CYD and all this kind of stuff. The people in the know are in the know. They know I can come up here and get what I really want, right? But so why not just legalize it? But I'm just saying these kids are on that. That's not a thing to them now. They don't, and it's hard to talk to them because they're just like, yo, school, how long school? Like yeah, what up, yeah, and it's like, what I'm supposed to do? There was a youngster. I went in the store. I went in the tobacco store, and there's a youngster. He had his pants that was damn near at his knees. His drawers, everything was out. He had his music playing on his whatever's, and he had a big old fat wad of money, and he was just in there buying all these different smoke products. If he was 20, right? If he was 20, I would say that was older than I thought he was. And he was wilding out. But me as an OG, was I supposed to say, hey, young blood, let me talk to you? Hell no. Let me get my old ass out your way. I'm moving around. So it's hard because you can't talk to these youngsters like that. And they don't want your help. They don't want your advice. Man, no, man, you an old head. It ain't like it was when y'all was out here old head. So you just, oh shit. Cause I sure ain't finna be out here wrestling with these youngsters. I ain't. Hey man, you got it. You got it. It's just these kids are hard to deal with. And people who teach for MPS, man, God bless you. Cause it gets crazy in our schools. Y'all don't really have no idea of what these people in the schools are dealing with on a daily basis, man. In some of these buildings, you got kids who will just absolutely go the fuck off on you. Fuck your punk ass, bitch ass, you ugly ass, motherfucker, bitch ass, motherfucker, and be right back in your classroom the next day. And you're like, yo, I suspended him. She cussed me out. And, well, she got an IEP. So, you're going to have to let her back in. You're not preparing her for real life because the first time she go out here in these savage streets with that attitude, somebody going to knock her head off.
Yeah.
So you're doing them a disservice. I just feel we're doing our children such a disservice right now because we haven't really put a premium with our kids on education. I ain't talking about liberal arts education. I'm not talking about going to UWM or going to Harvard or going to Marquette. I'm talking about saying, hey, I'd like to be a plumber. I'd like to be an architect. I'd like to be a mason. I'd like to be an electrician. We're not even putting that on them to say, look, little dude, okay, you don't want to go to school? You need to get a trade. Stressing this to them and implementing systems within our school system that push them towards that. Because all you're doing is through social promotion is pushing them out into the world unprepared. When you unprepared, what do? You do what you can. So you hustling, you in the streets. Now, I can't move it like he can, but I can rob him. See how we building up this whole kind of criminal culture. And then it's just, well, this is just survival. This is how it is. No. We got to start teaching our kids, no, this ain't just how it is. You need to be striving for better. Because the most beautiful thing about the ghetto is you can see the future right in front of your eyes. You see the hypes. You see the hot boys. What do they call them now? I say hot boy. I know that's some old shit. What do they call them now? I don't know. What do they call them? 10 toes. I hate to hear people say 10 toes down. Anybody else bothered by that except me? I feel like people shouldn't say that. I'm out here 10 toes down. Like, man, shut up, man. This is like, I'm just saying, man, it's a personal thing for me. Like, because I guess it's overused, and it's kind of like when somebody say standing on business. I'd be like, all right, you one of them motherfuckers. You just trying to sound hip and shit, saying the latest shit, right? I'm on fleek and shit. Like this. Like, what? You watch Love and Hip Hop to get your vocabulary. But no, I'm just saying, man, we have a problem with our youth. I don't know how we're gonna. Well, I do know how, because we've already seen our city attorney and the district attorney say they're about to start prosecuting. They're gonna stop dismissing, giving slaps on the wrist for the stolen whips, and a lot of these crimes that young people been. Oh, we're gonna give you a bracelet and let you go home. Then this little badass cut the bracelet off and go do some more shit. And the bracelet sitting at the crib in his room. My thing is with some of the parents is like, how does this happen under your watch? Like, I feel like I would have been, if this was something that my son got involved in, and thank God he didn't, I would have been able to kind of watch that and start regulating that early. Like, hold on. So you ain't going to school? I'm getting calls every day saying you ain't going to school. I feel like as soon as that happened, we should have came up with a plan. Like, we're going to have to do something about this little motherfucker because he ain't going to school. And I don't know what, like, I would have been searching forever and a day to try and find something for my child. Like, man, I got to figure out something for this dude because he headed nowhere. But I just feel like sometimes, because I used to meet with parents and they say, I don't know what's wrong with this boy, Mr. Barnes. I can't control him. I can't. How do he live in your house and you can't control him? Well, I don't want to just put him out in the streets. Well, that's where he is. He's not staying in the house. That's the problem. He's leaving. You know, where you going? I'm going out. There wasn't no, I'm just going out. If one of my kids is walking out the house, where you going? I'm going out. I'll be back. Oh, really? Well, I don't know that you're going to be able to get in when you get back. Might be an extra lockup on the door. You got to get an understanding here. I don't know, man. Once again, I'm not judging anybody who's dealing with a kid that's just out of control, but come on, we got to come up with some solution for in the home. You say it starts in the home. We got to come up with something, man, because our kids right now are out of fucking control. They wilding out, man, and they're harming themselves.
Right.
You know, it's the damage that they're doing to themselves, because imagine how important it's going to be to be literate in 20 years when everything is computer, everything is digital, and you can't read. You're going to be in some deep shit, man. So, like, if you can't count, you can't balance your money, you can't budget your money, right? You have no conflict resolution skills. That's why they're going to have a penitentiary for you, where you can go and just chill and kick your feet up and be like, man, I got 15, 20 years. And you will work for society, and you'll work for 25 cents an hour, making microchips and whatever kind of chemicals that they putting in foods now and all this. And you don't know what you're doing. You just working a machine. You could have done that shit when you was free. Why you wait to go to the penitentiary to do it? It's just, I'm just frustrated, real, with the kids, man. I am, man. And I say, I won't even say frustrated. I say I'm more disappointed that a lot of us are playing ourselves so bad, man. I seen your boy, one of your heroes from your generation was just released from prison, Big Meech from BMF, right? And people are happy. Like, yeah, Meech home. I've seen people talking about he's snitching. I'm not going into that. But when somebody who is sold millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of cocaine in particular, to their own community, what should we do about that person? Should that person ever see the light of day again? Just think about, if you sold crack for 10, 20 years, think of how many people you actually harmed in our community. if you sold it in particular in our community, like you really broke and destroyed families. You created some of the chaos that exists that we still dealing with to this day. Or did he do his time, let him out? It ain't his fault. The government gave it to us. Where you at on that, Rail? Should he have never got out, or you agree with them letting him out?
I'm a bit different when it comes to drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like because I've seen somebody like they were mad at I think LeBron or some shit. Like how you saying welcome home to somebody who killed kids and did da. And I was like, when did he ever kill kids? But somebody commented on it like, well, he sold drugs. But my thing is, we don't have that same energy for the motherfucking candy store owner who slapping like for me, I don't look at it as I don't look at a difference between cocaine, sugar, high fructose corn syrup. So my thing is, what about the restaurant owner that's slapping out 48 ounces of soda that got these dialysis clinics on every corner booming? So I don't look at one as worse than the other.
What year were you born?
Huh?
What year were you born?
83.
I think maybe that's why you probably don't. Why you look at it the way you do?
Probably.
Because I'm telling you, crack is worse than candy.
I'm saying as far as killing people.
Well, hold on, because hold on, I see the parallels in what you said. I see that, but I think we have to be specific here.
Crack ain't peddled to children. Candy directly
a candy store is not as destructive as a crack house is in your neighborhood. And now it is bad that children can become addicted to candy, and you are selling this to children, as you said. But I think if you had bore witness a little bit more to the change within our community pre-crack era and post-crack era, I think you would look at that a little bit differently, because it is a distinct difference, because the crack thing brought so much other dysfunction in. It wasn't just about the drug itself. It was the residual effects that it had.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we go down to loss of economic investment, because it decimated those communities where businesses now still to this day won't even go into these neighborhoods because of what happened back then. So, and a candy store just has some impact. I get what you're saying, but I just don't think it's as serious. Once again, respect your opinion, because I don't want to say, damn, man, let him talk. I'm just saying.
Oh, no, I ain't tripping.
I got Dion on the line.
Do you feel he shouldn't have been let out?
I don't know the circumstances of his release. I know, and people can change, because I'm not the one to sit up here and say that he shouldn't have been let out. That's not my call. I think depending on where he is mentally, because if he's going to come out and be counterproductive, in particular towards our community, I think he needs to be taken back to jail. I think it's about what he does now that he's out. And I know that there's a glorification of what he's done with the television shows and all the books, and he's gonna, and he should, because he took a lot of chances and went through a whole thing. So he should be able to reap the benefits of being home, doing speaking engagements. He's going to be getting book rights and all this. I just think he should be putting into that some positivity for the youngsters and working in programs that encourage positivity. Now, in particular, if you say Detroit, where he's from, we're not even talking about what he done allegedly in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. We're talking about even in Detroit, because the crack epidemic decimated Detroit. I'm talking about Detroit got it. We got it bad. Chicago got it bad. All the large cities got it bad. Los Angeles got it bad. But Detroit, really, it was a plague for them. It gutted the city. Dion, you on the line. What's popping, man? You think Big Meat should have been let out?
Man, you already know. Hell yeah, I think Big Meat should be let out. And the chairman of the board, Larry, too. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like real almost. So I don't look at that shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, first of all, he didn't distribute crack. He distributed cocaine, and they turned it into crack. You feel what I'm saying? But like, okay, like say for you, like, no, for real though, like say for instance, right, just like what Real was saying, we got people out here every day drinking and driving. Yeah. What about the marijuana? What about marijuana? You know what I'm saying? So now it's cool. And see, this is the thing I don't like. So say 5 to 10 years from now. See, what you got to fail to realize, the reason it's not about what crack did. Just like if you look at alcohol when they had the prohibition, it's about they couldn't find a way to tax it. So if they find a way to tax cocaine, and now you take these young, let me finish.
Wait, hold on. I want to stop you before you even continue, because you'll be saying you didn't say something. You just said it ain't about what crack did. It's about because they couldn't tax it. Are you arguing against the effect that crack had on our community? So you said it ain't about what crack did. That's what you said. That's what you just said.
Listen, to the white man, they don't give a fuck what crack did. It might affect me and you might look at it, but they didn't care about what crack did to the community. You understand what I'm saying? Because they was the one flying it over here. They was flying cocaine over here with Manuel Noriega, with Ronald Reagan, and all that. But we don't even need to go into that.
I'm talking about the
white man.
Wait, hold on. Leave the white man alone. But let's talk about black people. Why? Because we always want to talk about the white man. We're talking about black people. We talking about our community.
But without the white man, crack won't be in our community.
Just let me finish.
We had no control of the crack.
Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not about what crack did to our community, as to the black community. So as a black man, I should be cool with it and say, I ain't really, it's because they couldn't tax it. Because first of all, when we talk about the crime bill, the reason why it was signed is because there was an outrage from our community that contributed to it. All of the black leaders at the time, the Black Congressional Caucus, they all wanted it because of what it did. So yeah, we know the white man was like, for fucking, it ain't us. But the eventual prosecution of it and the changing of the laws was because of what it did to the community, ain't it? I mean, I might be wrong.
Well, see, I'm looking at it from a general perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay,
yeah, us as black people, and I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Because that time, that era came and go. I don't even know if people still smoke crack. The only thing I'm looking at, wait, hold on. I just said that time and era went and left. I don't even know if people still smoke crack. You know what I'm saying? I do know people that still smoke crack, but it's not, you don't hear about niggas out here coming up on crack. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that loud is what niggas coming up on. But see, my thing is, this is going to be the slap in the face, right? 5 or 10 years from now, we going to see people having cocaine distribution centers, just like they got marijuana dispensaries. You understand what I'm saying? So the only reason, and it probably won't be no outrage to it, just like with the opioid crisis, when they had the Narcan, where you go to a vending machine and boop, get Narcan, or when they had the methadone clinic right there on 27 Atkinson. You understand what I'm saying? So we could just sit up there and try to solely think about it with crack, but like you were saying, but you know, when you said don't look at the white man, but you can't take the white man out the equation because he was the one bringing the cocaine over here.
So we talking about what we're talking about.
We didn't know anything.
We talking about Big Meech and what he did to the black community. What he did, he made decisions.
But Big Meech solely didn't do it by himself.
We ain't talking about it. We're talking about him though. We ain't talking about it. If you want me to get the list of every drug dealer and we're going to talk about all of them at the same time.
I'm just saying,
the question was specific about should he have gotten out of prison? Based on the damage that he did to the black community, whether the white man is there or whether the Colombian is there, his conscious decision. And we all knew that the sale of powder cocaine went up when the crack epidemic came because you can make more off of it because of the mix. It was a way to flip powder.
I do think he should have got out.
Okay.
I do think he should have got out.
We don't need to go into. Okay, go ahead. He did his time.
He did his time. You know, ain't that what it's all about? They tell you do your time.
That's what they say. Did he do all of his time?
You come back to the community.
Did he do all of it?
I think he had 27 years.
Okay, 27.
But with Obama did the thing with, he said that crack cocaine was just as equivalent. I mean, it was the equivalent as powder cocaine. He did that law, and then this is what a nigga spit. Now, this ain't about that. But people will be like, well, Trump signed a compassionate law. Okay, they got the compassionate law. That's what Larry Hoover is trying to get released under. So I think Big Meech got a time cut with the Obama law, and I think with the compassionate law. Now, don't quote me on that, but I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But I know definitely with the Obama law, because my guy, his name Darren, he was supposed to do some time, and when Obama came and did that law to say, hey, crack is equivalent to powder, blah, 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 I think he got 12 years off his sentence. You know what I'm saying?
So now, do you agree?
But I do think.
Do you agree with Rail's summation that the candy store that sells candy to kids is the same. It does the same damage as a crack house.
I wouldn't go that far, but I agree with him to a certain extent. But he have to use another analogy. Like I believe a liquor store is just as detrimental as a crack house.
Okay. Legalized crack. Okay. I'm just throwing it up in the air. And once again, nobody's right, nobody's wrong. So before you get your panties in a bunch, it's a conversation.
Or
it's not a debate.
That high potent marijuana that y'all be smoking.
Okay. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that should be where people just be like, oh, it's weed. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still a drug. Like regardless of however you want to see it, you know? And we don't know the cause and effect of marijuana on people's lives. Because I ain't gonna lie, I know people that smoke weed and they ain't got no ambition to do shit. Because I remember when I used to smoke weed, like you don't feel like doing shit. You just want to sit back and chill. You know what I'm saying? That's all you want to sit back and
I know people
speak for yourself. Speak for yourself, Real.
You done got Kamar woke
up.
I
get busy, family. I get busy all day long. I'm still getting busy right now. What you talking about? Speak for yourself, player.
It's a drug. Like nicotine is a drug.
What about
Tylenol? Is a drug. What you talk about me?
So is sugar. So is alcohol. You know what I mean? I keep saying every week we do all kind of shit. Everybody do shit they ain't got no business doing. Everybody do something that could be considered a drug.
That's true. That you're so right.
So you know what I mean? Like if we all doing something, like how can we say one is worse than the other? The goal is for us all to get better.
You ain't finna talk down on weed with Kamar around.
Nah, you're not finna do that. You're not finna say people who smoke weed ain't got no ambition. You're not finna. I'm not finna let you say that. I gets high as a motherfucker and I gets down, family.
Yeah. Well, hold on, Kamar. I got a 2-part question.
Okay.
First of all, Kamar, I wanted to know what you felt about Big Meech. Do you think he should have been released? Because I was trying to weigh it versus the damage that crack did to the black community. And so these individuals who were responsible for selling millions and millions and millions of ounces of it or whatever to the community, what their retribution should be. So I was just asking everybody, they feel like Big, do you think he should have been released?
Well, you know, I sold dope for about 15 years before I went to prison.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Crack. I sold cocaine. You know what I mean? I sold weed. I sold it all. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's a chance for everybody to make a change. Most men get to a certain point in their life, you know what I mean? And they focus.
Okay.
And you know, like we don't know where he at. You know what I'm saying? We don't know where he at mentally. But I would think that, you know what I mean, from the way he act while he in prison, the different stuff that he doing or whatever. I mean, you know what I mean? The parole board probably felt like, you know what I mean, it was worth a chance.
Okay. I hear you on that. And I spoke to the fact that I don't know him personally, so I don't know where his head is.
Right.
I guess my issue with the whole thing would be the celebratory nature in which his legacy is kind of like people talk about what he did with reverence. Like, man, that man, when he got his money, like he did some incredible.
He was legendary
for selling dope to his own people.
Like Rick Ross.
Yeah.
Fluky Stokes, Jerry Walker.
Yeah. We've made, and a lot of them ain't here. They didn't make it. First of all, you talk about Fluky Stokes and his, terrible.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah. So, but I'm saying that's a dirty game and it's a dirty business. And for me, if you could sell crack without it bringing the violence, and maybe if it was regulated in which you made sure that children weren't directly harmed from it, I wouldn't have an issue with it. I feel the same way about marijuana as Kamar do, but also don't believe that a weed house should be able to corrupt the neighborhood. If it got to be shootouts and little kids strung out on your weed, I need you to get your weed and get the fuck up out of my community. It can be counterproductive when we talk about not being what you do, but how you actually do it. That's kind of like what. And once again, nobody's wrong. So if you listen to the show, it's not a debate show.
You're wrong, Cam. You wrong.
This ain't Stephen A. Smith. This ain't First Take. Right?
I think it's all about how it's regulated.
Hold on. Rail, you go first, and then we'll get Dion.
I think it's all about how it's done and how it's regulated. Like one of my movies I like I'm not into gangster movies. I'm not really like I grew up watching them because my mama was into Crime and Punishment. But I do like the movie Hoodlum with Lawrence Fishburne.
Mm-hmm.
And these were numbers, which eventually evolved into the state lotteries.
Right.
But while they were criminalized and a part of the underworld, they also led to death and shit being blown up, kids being killed for running numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So, and these were just pieces of paper that eventually became the lottery, or booking houses that now you could get an app on your phone to bet on sports.
which is basically gambling, which a lot of people say is morally wrong. So even with the way the numbers ran is gambling. It's which people say that's bad. Some people do. I'm not.
But the way it was done, it was more detrimental to our community because of the powers that be and how they handled it. Like, people ain't dying because of the lottery, but they were dying from numbers being ran because of the way it had.
Well, they was dying about the money. It was about the money. You
even gambling can be considered a drug.
Yeah, Kamar. Yeah, right.
Because it's addictive.
Yeah.
Dion, you prohibition too.
Right.
But guess what? Okay. Though, check it out. You know what it all got in common? The white man found a way to regulate it, make his profit off of it, and he made it fine and dandy. But going back to Big Meech and all those legendary people, that's why people in love with that cocksucker Trump. Because sometimes we like the bad guy, we like the bottom dog. Because I ain't gonna lie, I'm a criminal. I just don't do criminalistic shit.
Then
but
you're not a criminal. You're an ex-criminal.
Well,
why would you still want to wear that? You don't have no criminal mentality. You drive a truck. Make a difference. How many criminals got a 9? You got 2 jobs. You serve food in a school. You're talking about I'm a criminal. The fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I still have the criminalistic mentality, and I believe in the criminalistic code. I ain't gonna lie to you. And when and you hear me say it all the time on here. I'm gonna ride with a nigga whether you right or wrong. We'll figure it out after we get out this situation. But right now, you my nigga.
Dion,
you know what I'm saying?
You know what I ain't seen? You know what I ain't seen?
What?
Over the past, I don't even know how many years you've been rocking with us, and it's been some years now. I see you take Boo on a trip. I see you with your dog. I don't see you hanging with no bunch of niggas talking about I ride for a nigga. You gonna ride for that damn dog. You ain't even affiliated with those niggas doing shit now. And I guarantee you, they fuck around and call you, be like, man, I'm not here in Arizona with this girl, man. Stop it, man. Stop trying to wear that jacket.
Yeah, you're right.
Stop wearing. You don't have to accept that. You're not no criminal.
I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be bothered.
You ain't no criminal. You're an ex-criminal. You have committed crimes in your life. We all have. I have. Kamar have. Rel, I'm pretty sure you done committed some crime. You probably committing a few right now that don't nobody know about because you don't believe in our justice system and our laws anyways. So I'm just saying, but you're not a criminal.
I'm a very private guy.
I'm a criminal. I still got a criminal mentality. You at work right now on the show talking about you got a criminal mentality. What the fuck we talking about?
I'm trying to get this trailer up.
See, there you go. There you go.
Well, you killed me with that. You would have took all my street cred away if people didn't know me.
No,
like, dude, you at work, matter of fact, you a whole lunch lady and shit. Like, damn, Kim, that's what you do.
I wasn't trying to do that.
Destroy my ego.
I wasn't trying to do that because I can't. First of all, because what you did in the streets is in stone. You did your time. I ain't been to jail. You paid your dues. You made some mistakes. You got caught. You dealt with the consequences. You came home and said, I ain't going back there. I'm not giving them another day. And so you stuck to that. So I could never take anything from you. You've done what you've done. Like, right? Unless I find out you lying. And I'm like, Dion said, man, they told me Dion was in the choir and shit.
I sent you my whole name.
You're right, I did. Yeah, I did.
You wrote that letter.
I did see it.
Make sure I ain't no child molester.
Yeah, you're right. I did see it.
Well, you a fool. Well, I'm about to get up off here. I love you niggas, man. I'm glad to communicate with y'all. In 2 weeks, I'll be in Atlanta. Laid back in the cabins. That's what thugs do.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? That's what thugs do.
It's about I'm a criminal, but I don't like marijuana.
Yeah.
Criminals that don't like marijuana. All right, my brother.
Y'all stay up. Y'all be peaceful, man. Y'all be safe out there. Kamar, maybe I might shoot down there to the Phoenix this weekend and fuck around down there. I know that's where the ladies be at. I need me a Milwaukee girl. I'm tired of going back and forth to Chicago. But I'm gonna let y'all go though, man. Love
just
y'all.
be nice to him, man. Don't be so aggressive.
Yes,
Dion.
sir.
Just be nice.
All right.
All right, man.
All right. Love.
Peace out, man. Shout out to Dion, man. Dion is a true. He rock with Outlaw Radio, but he's a wild boy. Jesse Parrish, he said, peace, outlaws from the mile high income and illegal migrant flooded city. Frontline Black News, a revolutionary agenda, and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. How you doing, my brother? Shabaka called in earlier. His connection was severed. I couldn't get him back on. I see he tried to call back, and every time I tried to answer it, it was dropping. So I don't know what the heck is going on with that. But he was on earlier. But no, I mean, and see, okay, that's where I would, what Dion just said was a perfect example of, because I alluded to in the beginning of the show that there's some Black people or poor people who feel like Trump is their best option because he represents that kind of like outlaw, I don't give a fuck, whatever, I say what the fuck I want to say. Like he represents, to them, that looks like change. That looks like, oh, this is something different. It's gonna be our day now. It's gonna be the day of the underdog. I don't believe that to be true. I think Trump would work to more to insulate himself and his people. Really, it just becomes the protection of the wealthy, as opposed to now everybody got a chance to get wealthy. Like, nah, we're gonna make this so we keep this in our circle. That's how I feel Trump is going to operate. Of course, we don't know. I mean, I didn't see any kind of crazy things that he did for poor people when he was president before. See, y'all got to remember, Trump has been president. Were those phenomenal times? I keep hearing people say, I had more money when Trump was president. I'm like, my money really, I think I probably make more money now, but it wasn't because of Biden. It's because I got a different job than I had when Trump was president. I kept moving. I keep moving. So it wasn't really about who was in the White House. You know what I'm saying? So it's this election is super personal, man. But I think we as Black people, we cherish, like Dion said, we cherish the gangster shit. Like, those dudes are heroes. Imagine the fact that we sit around and say these dudes was legends. Like, some of those dudes he named off was psychopaths. They was cold-blooded killers. One of those individuals, who I'm not going to even say his name, is suspected in the murder of his own son over this dope money, over this gangster shit, over this street shit. A lot of people lost their lives. You know what I'm saying? Because of the crack. And they're legends. They're legends because they helped destroy the community. Now, I understand it wasn't all on them, because we understand the war on drugs. We understand the Contra, the whole connection in South America and this fake ass war on communism. Never going to take the government's role and responsibility out of that. But I'm just saying, we idolize those who were basically the purveyors of a lot of the damage. Like, they were rich, but they were serving your auntie and your sister.
We glorify the street shit.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. And we like that shit. You know, a lot of us are just cheerleaders for foolishness. Like, man, you see that motherfucker? How you clown like a motherfucker, man? Dude, a fool. You know, the craziest dudes in the hood was the most popular. Man, that nigga a fool with it, man. What up, dog? People gave him credit and shit. Like, you didn't care about little Ted, who was going to school every day trying to become a lawyer. Like, get your lame ass out of here. It was about big gangster folks in them. He said Trump is not a pushover, and you know where he stands. Do you think he's being honest with you? That's what's funny to me. People say you know exactly where he stands. We know he lies a lot. He lies. He don't care about what the fuck he's. Come on, man. You know exactly where he stands. So if you say, fuck Black people, I hate y'all, well, I'm gonna vote for you because at least you told me where you stand. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not voting for your punk ass. I'm just meandering, y'all. This is where we get when we start talking about why we're gonna vote for who we're gonna vote for, and it turns into an argument. So the mantra here is just vote. Just vote, because like I said in the beginning of the show, when it rains, we all gonna get wet. And I'm gonna be quick to point my finger and say, you motherfucking Trump fanatics, you MAGA motherfucker. I don't want to hear you complain about a goddamn thing. Don't complain about shit. And I'm going to say it. I don't want to hear it, you Trump fan. I don't want to hear it. He said, I did have money when Trump was president as a professional mover. I mean, I was a professional then. I had a job, but I make more money now than I was making then. It's not because of Biden or his policies. It's because I got a different job. Matter of fact, Trump was 4 years ago. So
President don't get you the job.
There
Let's
you go.
make that clear.
There you go. Okay. Thank you, Kamar. Because I was just trying to see how was I getting bread in 2020, and I said I was, but not as much as I mean, I was doing well. Inflation, if you adjust inflation and all that, I was, the times when I've been doing bad in my life financially, it wasn't about who was the president.
Only time I ever seen the president, only time I think that I can remember the president affecting the hood is during Reaganomics.
Because of the drugs.
Yep. And
because of the collapse of the industrial structure.
That's the only time I ever remember the president affecting the hood. That's a dope.
Or with Clinton when the mandatory minimums and the crime bill came.
Well, that was needed though.
Well, no, I'm saying it affected the hood because mass incarceration.
Yeah.
Just you said, damn, you got how much time? They gave me 20. I only had a quarter ounce of crack. They gave
they give you a year for every rock, nigga.
Man, shit, brothers used to kill me with that. Like, man, I got caught with a 50 pack. They gave me 15 years. Like, damn, son. That was crazy. He said, like Kamar said, the hood glorifies a lot of loser shit. That was a very interesting post that you put up, Kamar. The hood glorifies a lot of stupid shit.
It is, man. It is. Like all through the hood. Like, you got the rich cousin in the family, you know what I mean? Everybody look up to him like he the king and shit. And you know what I'm saying? And he pumping all kind of dope through the hood. Or like you say, you got the fool. You know what I mean? He crazy as a motherfucker. He running around the hood, knocking motherfuckers out, popping niggas and shit. You know what I mean? They glorify him too. You know what I'm saying? You got sisters who glorify gay men, you know what I mean? Or how about I'm talking about how fucked up behavior gets promoted, right?
Okay.
I got a scenario for you. You ever met a girl and she got a brother and then she be like, my brother a player, he got all kind of girlfriends, he a fool, girl, and it's funny and shit until she meet a nigga like that?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we glorify a bunch of sucker ass shit. You know what I mean? And it don't make this shit don't make no sense, man. We ain't living our life.
I'm trying to think about some things because we just talked about the drug dealer thing and how we do put those the brothers from the hood who are really dysfunctional. Sometimes they get put on a pedestal, but sometimes if an individual is just known throughout the hood to be shady, we kind of ostracize that individual too. Like, man, don't nobody fuck with dude, man. Dog is super shady, man. But we do. I'm looking at what, like, if we talk about the way we treat our women, and so that's been kind of glorified because if you had a lot of women, like Kamar said, you's a player, right? If you was exploiting women, extorting them, putting them on the avenue, and kicking them in their ass, making them get out there and turn tricks, but some bread, you used a pimp. Like, that boy's a real pimp right there. Woo, shit.
Yeah, even the women in his family,
right,
look up to him.
Right. Interesting. Interesting. And we don't big up the individuals who come from the hood who turn out to be positive.
Right.
Maybe they don't become a celebrity or their name ain't known throughout the streets, but he or she, managed to get
how about that brother that just go to work every day and take damn good care of his kids?
Right. Got him a nice little home somewhere.
That's the hero right there. You know what I mean?
It should be.
That's the hero.
It should be. And Kamar, I think that was the difference because when I heard you say, and we always have to take this into account, times have changed. Because a lot of times when I was younger, no matter what we were on dysfunctional, there were so many examples of the man in the hood who was taking care of his business. Right. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Jones? Boy, you better watch out here. You be careful out here. These police down the street. I know y'all be out here with that foolishness now. Yeah. Like, he tell you, he knew what you was doing.
They looking out for you.
Yeah, and if he get a chance, he get in your ear like, look here, man, they hiring at my job. I've been there 32 years. Like, I get you to take you down there, you get your application, you get out the street corner. Like, but we would listen to him too, Kamar. Now you go to these youngsters, they be like, man, we don't get the fuck up out of here. I don't hear that shit, school. I don't want to hear it. He said, yeah, those was crazy times. I remember growing up and all black children and adults in my neighborhood going to jail and prison for that shit. The crack thing is one of those things where I really always say you had to be there. The level of madness, you had to be there to witness. We could reminisce on it now and make rap songs and watch videos and watch movies, but you had to be there because the world was not like that just a couple years prior. So you look at Milwaukee in 1982 and then look at it in 1985. You be like, where the fuck am I at? What is this shit? Everything that was dysfunctional just became the norm. You wasn't used to somebody mama being strung out begging, hey, I suck your dick. If you be like, whoa, this so-and-so and so mama or his fine ass auntie that everybody used to like in the hood. That just became super prevalent. Dope dating and all that. That just became, and it wasn't the world. It was like we had morals one night and then we woke up the next morning and it was anything goes. And so that's why you always hear me harp on the effects that it had on the community, because I was there. I watched it from 10 to 20, from 85 to 95. I'm like, damn, this is not the neighborhood I grew up in. This is not the place where I started out at, because I remember how it was before that shit really hit. So you always hear me talk about that, real. That's why I think, and I'm a real liberal dude with drugs too, like you say. Like I don't, because I know about Harry J. Anslinger and I know about the racist nature of the war on drugs, right? We understand the conspiracies played out on our back during the 80s that your boy Ronald Reagan them conspired to do. I understand all that, but crack for me is different. It's just because of the way it destroyed everything around it. It was poison, and everything around it was bleak. You can't sell crack in a classy way. You can sell marijuana in a professional way. Like you can have a dispensary that's run right. You can't have a legalized crack house. It's never gonna work right because of the things it does to the users. They become so, man, you couldn't even put a barbecue grill in your backyard. They would steal your children's toys out your yard. He's 3 blocks over selling your son tricycle to somebody. Give me $5 for this. You see what I'm saying, Rail? It just became like, dude, the standards just, and then once they did start locking us up and shipping us off, we know what the effect was when you took the men out the community. That's why you hear me harp on that, y'all. That ain't,
I watched a lot of men lose their families, lose their whole lives over that shit. You know what I mean? Like meeting people when they first start buying dope and they clean, got their job, the car, nice car, you know what I mean? They just pull up every so often.
Right.
To the point where they come through walking, busted shoes, stinking like a motherfucker done lost their job. Their wife done left them, kids don't fuck with them no more. You know what I mean? I done watched people, man, like so many people just lose every fucking thing.
And it didn't take long.
No, bro.
That's what I say. Like what Kamar's talking about is a perfect example of, you got that one dude who pulls up in a nice car. He got a nice job. He been there for years, and every now and then he might say, hey, man, give me $20. Yeah. And all of a sudden you see him more frequently. And like I said, like Kamar said, 6-8 months later, here he come walk. You like, dude, what the fuck? That shit done stripped him of his existence, man. It's that, once again, it's that quote, it's that lyric from Prince. In September, my cousin tried reefer for the very first time. Now he's doing horse. It's June. So he done moved from weed to heroin. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so it was that. And that's why I always talk about that. And I've spoken with young people about it. And they say, man, that's crazy. I heard it was crazy back in the days. And I'm like, it's no way I can actually describe it. Actually, it's like just to watch that transformation, you just go, So that's why when I see the movies now, you notice most of the movies focus on the dealers. It doesn't really go into the effects that the drugs they selling have.
Yeah, because they want to just glorify that part and make our youth want to be that.
Right. We sell keys. Because I'm telling you, I watch Tubi movies. And some of them hood Tubi movies for me is the shit. Like I just watch H Block, McGraw Avenue. It's dope, but it don't really show, because they just talk about selling. Well, I got 30 keys. I got 40 keys. You don't really see the effect that somebody having 40 keys has on the surrounding community.
Right.
Unless you look at the blighted property, you know, they show a lot of tore up spots where you be like, damn, is Detroit one big ass burnt out ghetto? I just watched I think I watched too much Tubi. But I just think we need to stop celebrating, like Kamar said. We need to stop glorifying dumb shit, man. We need to hit reset. As black men, we need to hit reset. We got to reinvest in our families. You know, the fact that they playing games with us and our masculinity, trying to X us out the puzzle, to me means we need to be more proactive about reintroducing ourselves to the community. And hold on, man. We got some brothers here now. We're going to get together and take care of our business because gentrification is coming. Believe it or not, it's already rolling. It's coming. You better get your twos and fews together because they're going to have a place to put your ass. Jesse says, yeah, them clucks used to steal a lot. However, they did do a lot of work as well, right? They would fix stuff. Those meth heads and fentanyl heads are non-productive. They would do that work though, right? Hey man, y'all cut this grass and clean this lot. What? I'm gonna give each one of y'all $50. Woo-wee. They gonna do. I had rental properties that one of the basements in the house I bought was just it was so bad I wouldn't even go all the way in the back. It was like years of shit in the basement, like trash. And my brother, I said, man, I got to get this shit out this basement if I'm gonna move people in this house. And my brother said, I'm gonna go to the east side. I know 2 crackheads. That's what they do. They clean shit up. Man, I'm telling you, them 2 dudes came to that house and you could damn near cook on the floor. I ain't gonna say eat off the floor because it was the basement. You could damn near cook on the floor and sit down on I'm telling you, they gutted it and they hauled it all, piled it up neatly. Like they was professional. And so I did take advantage of the local crack economy by hiring those dope fiends. Yeah, they was doing work. They was, but you know. Hey man, let's start focusing on the positive more. Now, Kamar, we got I think we can make this announcement next week and talk more about it because you are doing something different with Wellness Our Way. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that yet.
Well, actually, I was just talking to Fletch today, right? I just got some information saying that the hotels is saying that we can't sell drinks, and all my vendors had drinks or whatever.
Okay.
But I told Fletch, and I was going to mention the rail that I could still get you in there to do your workshop if you want to. We could still try to, you know what I mean, get you some time up there, or you could still do I'm going to be at the Sherman Phoenix.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If I can't sell my drinks out there, I ain't gonna make it.
Right. No, I feel you. Shit, I understand. No, I'm good. Shit, if y'all not over there, shit, I don't have to be.
Right.
Yeah, what the fuck I'm going for? I'm gonna call you from there, like, come on, what y'all doing?
Right.
I didn't know it. I want to bring clarity to it.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I just got this information today.
Okay. Other than that, I know it's getting cold. Man, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. The weather last weekend was phenomenal. Like Saturday and Sunday, man, your boy was kicked back. Like, this is some dope ass weather. I'm talking about the temperatures. I love autumn anyway, so everything was everything. But what I'm hearing is about to start getting cold. They say that, but you don't know what God's gonna do. They don't really know. But Kamar, what you got coming up for the rest of the week?
The rest of the week. Saturday, I'll be at the Fondy Market. Other than that, y'all catch me at the House of Vitality.
Okay. And you were do you know when your article in the Washington Post or is when that's going to be published, or
well, they're gonna send me the link or whatever once they get it put together.
Okay. And your live that you did with him today, because it was like sped up and I didn't.
Yeah. I got it. I got the video, well, from what I recorded or whatever, but you couldn't hardly hear it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That the Asian, the reporter, he talked low. He don't talk loud. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of a quiet interview. We had to be right up on it. So that's why I didn't have no sound on it.
Why didn't take you in the bubble room? I
don't know. I didn't think of that. I could have went there. I just didn't think they wanted to put the House of Vitality in the background.
And
I wasn't gonna tell them no to that.
Right. Well, that's not wise. Rel, what you got coming up this week?
Shit. Just working on narrating my children's book so that I can get it recorded and probably put on YouTube so these daycares can start playing it every day. Otherwise, shit, I ain't got no plan relaxing this weekend. This finished up my contract with the Sherman Phoenix teaching the veterans emotional intelligence. So that contract finished. So about to, find some more contracts. I bottled up some white wine this morning, and as soon as I'm off of here, I'm bottling up a tangerine mango wine, and then it's trying to get some wine ready for these holidays.
Okay. I ain't on nothing. I gotta cut down some stuff in my backyard. So my brother and I had a chainsaw this weekend. My son has yet another game, so I'm just on that watching his games. He's getting playing time. They need to throw him. He's big play. He's averaging like 25, 30 yards a catch. I don't understand how you're not just consistently throwing him every time they want him. Go, we need a big play. Go deep, throwing the ball, he catches it. He's a freshman. I get it, but I'm just like, yo, but and he's like I say, he sends me his practice videos and all that, and he's killing in practice. I'm kind of confused. Like, what's the deal here? Like, why he should be
sucks.
it's that, and they're not a good team. Kamar, you ain't wrong, and I don't like to call kids out like that, but
I don't know.
Right, the skill, I don't know him personally, but the skill level is not where it probably should be.
Right.
And I think the main thing is I probably just got to get him into a better situation collegiately, which he should have been in the first place. But it's a long story about, I don't make excuses, but I said I value the academics that I got at Milwaukee Lutheran. The athletics fucking sucked ass. And so I had to make up my mind which one's more important. I chose the academics, and luckily he was given an opportunity. But like I tell him, it ain't over until it's over. It ain't about where you start at. It's about where you finish at.
Right.
So, you just keep working, controlling the things that you can control. Right. And this is something that tonight I would like to end on that, just talking about that for a minute, is that we worry about a lot of shit we can't control. We focus on a lot of shit we can't control. Specifically with this election, we looked at a bunch of shit that didn't mean nothing about nothing and didn't have no bearings on the big picture. And when it comes to you and your individual situation in your life and where you're at, there's really only two things you can control. One is your attitude and one is your effort. Those are two things that you have full control over, right? And so it's very important for you to understand the importance of those two things when you go into any endeavor. And it could be something simple, your attitude and your effort. Because when you get discouraged, you say, fuck this shit. I'm not doing this. Effort's gone. But the fuck this shit anyways was a attitude adjustment. You know what? My attitude is fuck it, right? If you change those things, it starts to change other things. I just want to tell black people that. We have to start big up in prosperity and start, because we know what the issues are. And we get busy on each other all the time and telling each other what we doing wrong and you should do this. But nobody's talking about, well, what's the right thing to do, right? Like what's the most upright thing we could do? Because you have to have a moral code. And I think people want to live now with no moral code, especially if it behooves them, as my mother say. You're going to choose the wrong path when it can benefit you instead of consistently trying to choose the right path. Nobody's perfect, but sometimes the effort is what it's all about, man. Y'all get busy. Y'all share the show. Y'all keep your head on a swivel. Keep them kids tight, man. Tell your kids you love them. That's the one thing people miss out on, too. Sometimes you just got to tell them babies, daddy love you. Proud of you, son. Proud of you, baby girl. I love you, right? Sometimes you got to say that to them so they'll understand it. And you really, sometimes when it comes to the people who you love outside your family, you got to say that. You got to sometimes tell your homeboy, hey, man, love you, bro. It ain't even nothing diddy about that now. Back in the days, I used to look at cats funny, like, what you mean you love me? Now, with one of the old school homies to say, "Kid, man, love you, bro," it ain't nothing for me to reciprocate that and say, love you too, man. Ain't no thing. Sometimes we get, Lionel Richie said on the song, love will find a way. One of my favorite songs. In the meantime and in between time, man, don't just talk the talk, walk the walk, like the witch doctor says. If you're going to speak about it, be about it, right? So that means your criticism of the community should not outweigh your contribution to it. And if you just so happen to be the type of person that's engaged in that type of behavior, around here, we call you a coon. I will see you on Monday, man. Peace and love.